All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, humans and pets alike, a little bit of unorthodox, a little bit of different opening today because we have a special show for you guys today to start off our tournament, to kick off our tournament. We have a little bit of interview with some of the players, the communities. But first, let me introduce my co-caster, the incredible, the one and only, the sexy and charming Leo, all the way from the other side of the globe, the community's favorites. How are you doing, Leo?
I am wide awake. It's 8 a.m. here in the Philippines, and I could not think of a better place to be than here with you, Dave. I'm excited. NACT.
Okay, first of all, how many cup of coffee have you had?
I'm guessing this is my third over here. I just made a new one.
Oh, yo, that is a good cup. I want that cup. Okay, are you going to Jakarta? Because I would need to buy that cup. I would need to somehow get that cup. That cup is too good. That's a beautiful cup.
I'll send you one. How about it? I'll send you one. Don't worry.
All right. It's a deal. I like that cup. This is a third cup of coffee. By the way, it's 7 p.m. where I live, Central Standard Time in Austin, Texas, and it's yet 8 a.m. And this guy woke up, I think, around like 6 a.m., right? That's what he says, 6 a.m. today?
That's being generous. I'd say 4:45. I like being ahead.
Oh, 4:45. Jesus, that's like 4:45. Guys, when the last time you woke up at 4:45? I think that's grandparents' time, to wake up. I woke up about 4:45 for MLBB action. That's it. Like, across the world, doesn't matter. Like, all the more, friend. All right, that's awesome. So, a round of applause. Make sure to smash a like for our incredible guest, Leo, to wake up so early to bring on an incredible show for our North American community. And ladies and gentlemen, we brought Leo on just to ask some questions, and I have a lot of questions to ask the man, the idol himself. Okay, so first of all, my question for you is, Leo, what do you think about NPLPH, the current strongest team? Obviously, we have the data. We know Blacklist is the best, but wait, we got Trex in as well. Okay, this is a discussion now. So Leo, why don't you tell us about it? Trex, I think Trex want to know as well. What do you think about your best teams in PH region, NPLPH?
You're asking me this question? I'm sorry, I just ninjutsu'd here. I'm a little behind, but I'm here. Yes, we're talking about NPLPH. I know Blacklist ended up on first, Echo second.
Yeah.
This is kind of reminiscent. Me and Leo were just having some of these conversations about 3 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, Blacklist, they look good. Echo looks very good as well, but I feel like in the playoffs, I think I watched in the beginning of the season, Blacklist took some losses, weren't just swamping through. So I definitely think, kind of like how it is here, anything could happen, right? A lot of those teams look hungry. A lot of them seem like they want it.
Leo, what are your thoughts on the region? Obviously, you've been casting every tournament. I watched all the matches that you casted. Involving Blacklist, involving Echo and Omega. What do you think? What are some best teams, the plays that you think that you liked?
Actually, I do. I do see that on your streams, you actually react and you try to analyze things. And yeah, no, I've always had my eyes on the older teams like Omega and Bren. Happy to see Bren actually back in the playoffs. Sucks that they have to face off against Omega to start with. So one of them going. But yeah, no, up top, let's talk about that first. Again, Blacklist and Echo starting with 2 lives. I do believe they both deserve it. And I do like that they're very different teams, right? Not to take away a spotlight from what we're about to witness at Vegas here for North America. But in the meantime, again, our playoffs here in NPLPH starting in about 2 weeks' time, maybe less than that. And then we have about a week from then, the grand finals of NACT. Definitely something to watch out for because, again, those 2 teams in the upper bracket have 2 different play styles. So I've seen some NA teams play a lot like Blacklist. If I'm not mistaken, the Valley now have some awesome rubber banding moments. A lot of their team games, I think half of their games, they won against teams that have been so dominant in the early game, mid game, very Blacklist. And then you have teams like, I'd say Team First Blood, who I'm sad is in the lower bracket now. I'm sad are fighting for their lives. Plays a lot like Echo, very aggressive early.
Yeah.
And if they have their way, they will win and they will take it. But a lot of teams now in the NACT, happy to say, have such great comeback moments. So again, a lot of 3-1s, a lot of 3-2s, I'm hoping, in the next few days.
Ooh, you know, like I actually want to ask the follow-up questions. Like, why do you think Blacklist have such outstanding success, you know, in the MPL PH region? Like, what do you think the biggest reason for that is?
All right, so number one, I think is because they know themselves so well, and they've been together for the better part of a year now, since they won the World Championship, and since they got together as this main five in Season 8. And that's one huge strength. I think now in the developing and ever so quickly growing NA scene, that is something that a lot of teams, at least in the top 4 now, I'm looking at Vendetta and I'm looking at the Valley, they know themselves so well. Especially for a team like the Valley, who I'm not sure if you guys have gotten over it, calling them a super team. If you know your strengths, play to it. So that's something, one thing that Blacklist has. And then another is they play their own meta. So they know themselves and they don't force themselves to adjust to a meta. They make the meta adjust to them. So I'm looking forward to some teams here in NACT doing just that. We have seen a little bit of a spicy streak in the top 8. So I'm hoping that there's more of that here.
Absolutely tracks. And this is the thing. What do you think NA teams, like obviously you mentioned, like just, you know, play your own strategy, like be yourself and play the strongest of your strength, you know, just make that even stronger. So what do you think are some things that NA team can take away from this? Because like obviously you see MPLPH, every time a team going against Blacklist, they're still banning Diggy, Estes, you know, just for the respect, you know, to understand that, oh, that's something that we just cannot let them have because they'll have their way with it. So what do you think about NA teams? Is there anything that we can learn using our region?
You know, I think very similar to what Leo just said involving Blacklist and a fact of like, they've been together. They've been doing this now for a year. They've been a strong team. And that is like tip number 1, right? That is the first thing that I think we need to see. We know the NA teams that thrive, the NA teams that you see at the top of the list most of the time are the teams that have stuck together. And then secondly, to the fact of Blacklist does well because they're able to, like, they know their strengths and they play to that. And we've seen a lot of teams. We've seen a lot of NA teams, you know, something commonly in the past couple days, the Valentine and the Faramis pick. Like, it's not something you have to force yourself onto every single time just because it's the, you know, what a lot of people see as overpowered. It doesn't mean you have to, you know, don't get uncomfortable. And we see teams win that don't get uncomfortable. You know, we see teams win that sometimes fall to those comfort picks, fall to the picks that they know is going to fit their composition, and don't try to work around what, you know, what the viewers want to see, what the analysts and the casters on the desks are saying. You know, make the composition that works, and those are normally the teams that come out on top. And when you do lose a game because you make that decision, don't just switch up all of your strategies. You know, sometimes you're going to still lose playing the way you think works, but you need to kind of hold strong to it and build on that, right?
Yeah, and that is so true. I think yesterday we see that vividly when Ackerman was going against the Valley, and then they were trying to, first game I think we're trying out some meta stuff. The second game, they have Gels QT on that Chow. And I've been saying that you got to watch out for this guy's Chow. And sure enough, you've seen the differences when Gels QT was on Chow. He was just able to get those 5-minute knockups with a singular, you know, flicker skill 1. That's just so impressive to watch. And obviously, starting that game on, Chow was banned every game, you know, so which is not something you see banned in MPL or NA. Now, that's the question I actually want to go back to Leo again. So come back to the meta. Who do you think are the best, most impactful roam characters are? Like, because obviously we've seen Grok and Alice coming back all of a sudden with not too much changes added to them, you know, compared to when people were using Mathilda not too long ago, 2 weeks ago. So what do you think happened there? Why are we back to Grok and Alice again?
Well, to be fair, I haven't seen much Alice or Ruby. Do you mean Ruby in the roam? Because I personally get that confused as well. I don't know why. There's nothing similar between a bat vampire girl and Little Red Riding Hood with a scythe. But if you're talking about Ruby, then yeah, there's not much change to Ruby or Grok. But again, it's a matter of CC. There are teams in the NACT like your boy, here, DSP. DSP are so good at team fights. DSP are so good at taking these 5v5 scrambles, especially at Lord, but they suck when you face them off against a team that has like high CC. 2 or 3 heroes, again, like the Grok or the Ruby, it's over. Pair that with an Eve, they can't fight very well. So now, that's the reason why these players these heroes are super key. Now, if you're talking about the Faramis Rome, you're talking about the Estes, you're talking about the Digi. These are teams that rely. These are heroes that rely on teams that are super support based. Again, you're talking about your Blacklists. You're talking about. I'm not sure if Shark of the Valley is as open to that yet, because I saw his Matilda the other day, and that one was a little So you can say that Shark is closer to your more traditional tank roamers, right? So now that that's come into the discussion, I'd say the Lolita in Cho. The Lolita in Cho is such a dichotomy that you have to watch out for the other, especially in team fight based matchups. So now, I'd say expect Cho to be more of a highlight ban. Definitely going to be a highlight ban.
Absolutely. Chao is just so strong early all the way to late game with those engages CCs you have, and I think that's a really great point. But guys, with that being said, we're actually going to take a short break because we're preparing a special guest that the community likes a lot. We might have a little bit of clash of, the caster experiences for being caster of different regions. We're going to come back and you will like that. So don't go anywhere. Start like, subscribe, and turn the bell on notification bells. Get your popcorn, get your soda. We'll be back after a short break. See you soon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's me again, your assassin Dave. Welcome back to our incredible interview time. For our first guest tonight, we have the king of potato, Private Dancer. That's right, some of the favorite casters, as well as Leo, to talk about the meta differences between MPLPH and NACT, the upcoming rising region in the entire world stage of Mobile Legends. So how are you doing, Private?
I'm doing very well. Just pretty excited tonight, as I have been for like the entire week. Pretty much the biggest event right now for North America. And of course, then joined here by the legendary Leo, all the way from the Philippines.
You guys are too kind. This actually is, how do I say, it feels like uncanny valley territory, because I've known Private for the better part of 2022 for the longest time, and it feels like I'm meeting a friend for the first time all over again. I think that's just, I'm sure it's the same way for a majority of the NA crew. Honestly, it's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the first time Private actually agreed to show his face. In fact, I think Private, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about the backstory, like, because I think you wanted to probably, you know, maintain as a potato until the grand finals.
Yeah, I did. But I mean, it came to that question: is they want to try to make this bigger. They want to make it more professional. And I mean, there's a certain point. I knew there would eventually be that limit. That I think I've pushed it a little far already with the NA, with the squad league, with the former NACTs I've competed with, and I've let my kind of talent kind of like shine through the fact that it was a potato. But the whole thing kind of just started with just trying to be entertaining, trying to be something that something different. I didn't have to show my face. I could make it a potato and still make it entertaining, still make it still have like that professional little bit of quip to it, that little flavor to it, that even if there were some in there that would come in and be like, why is there a potato casting right now? Eventually, once they heard it, once they heard the matches, they'd be like, okay, he's got a little something there. And it just kind of continued from there until after a while, it was just like, why would I show my face now? But like I said, it's a huge event for North America. What better time to kind of get rid of the old right now and kind of transform into something new, to let something new flourish in North America.
Okay, Leo, have you ever thought about being a VTuber yourself?
Yeah, no. Again, Private is my closest VTuber. Can I call you that? VTuber friend, right? And this is the first time I've actually heard him talk about it in this way. Private, we've spoken like countless times off broadcast about your character, about the potato, and we even had this joke about like, yo, what if you actually show up IRL at an event in like your potato skin suit? Like it's a suit colored like your... Anyways, this is my first time hearing you mention it as more of a handicap, like more of a limiter to what you are, so that your talent shines through. So I never thought about it that way, and I'm wondering if it's the same way for other VTubers, because again, sometimes all you need to be is entertaining. All you need to have is your voice shine through. And yeah, Dave, no, I don't know, man. I've never thought about putting up something else to be me. although I have to share, there was a time in my career where I thought that Leo was a separate entity from Dan, like who I am IRL. But in the past few years, I've figured out that sharing yourself, like putting yourself into who you are in the gaming sphere and in your work, helps more than it doesn't. So yeah, Leo is as much Dan these days as the other. So I'm happy that our friend here, Private, has accepted that as well, and then it's it's amazing. Amazing.
Yo, Private, any response to that? Because last time when we talked, you know, from what I heard is you want to, obviously he has developed such a huge fan base with the potato character. A lot of people want to see those different things, animations added to it. Like, what's your thoughts on that? That's actually make a lot of sense. What Leo said.
It stands kind of differently when it comes to streaming, and then when it comes to casting. Casting, I feel like there is a little something separate, especially when it comes to people want this to be taken seriously, especially when it comes to North America. If that means setting aside, even momentarily, the potato for the casting and stuff like that's fine. When it comes to streaming, I think I might actually like people love it. There's a lot of things that I've built into it, emotes and little things. They absolutely love the potato. So when it comes to streaming, I might go back to it just because it's entertaining. And that's kind of what I'm here for, is to be entertaining. If that means a potato today, if that means I'm maybe on something else later tomorrow, I feel like what I enjoy is entertainment, whatever that kind of translates into, either for the viewers or for casting, or when it comes to Mobile Legends and stuff like that. So I mean, like I said, it's been an interesting journey, and I've been enjoying it like 110% the entire way.
I have a different question, because I think this is very related, because Leo is a professional caster from MPLPH. Mainly cast from what we heard, obviously the English region, the English version of it, because we know that the MPLPH has broadcasted different versions, right? There's Filipino, there's English. Now, Private Dance is a professional caster in North America region, so I really want to know the lifestyle differences. For you, Leo, like, are you do you make professional content on the side, or like, do you just practice casting 24/7, just go to a wall and just be like, what a great ult from Grok? What is your schedule like as a professional caster in MPL?
Okay, you know what? I love this line of questioning, because this is something I think about maybe 24/7. And I'd like to compartmentalize my thoughts, because I think there's a very specific question here. It's more of the professional side, the practice side, because, oh Lord, there's a whole nother conversation about casting itself that I want to share with you guys, but maybe we'll save that for off broadcast, or maybe for a podcast outside of NACT. But anyways, so yes, on the daily, I think as an MPL Philippines caster, we work like on camera 3 days out of a week, because that's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? And count that as your day out, like nothing. When it's MPL day, you can't do anything else. So I barely get to the gym on Fridays and Sundays, and then no errands at all. So you leave the house before noon, and then you're out by like 10, 11 p.m. because that's how long the show runs. So nothing, that's your whole day. So what do I do Monday to Thursday? So Monday's left to rest your voice, right? Like, you've been screaming for the better part of 72 hours, fine. And then we have meetings on Monday night to huddle about what happened over the weekend. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. See, like, you start to think about it, like 3 days in a week, you're fine. No, dude, there's very little left for yourself. So for the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that's where my errands happen. So I try to clean the house, get stuff done. When I can, I eat, I sleep. And then, yes, content. I do a lot of content. I used to have this long-running podcast. I think we did it for 3 or 4 seasons of the MPL now. Better part of 2 years. It's called Recall, wherein we look back at the MPL weekend broadcast and just talk about it, much like this. And that takes up about 2 days of writing and the broadcast itself. Wow. And then I used to have this side hustle, or you kind of count it as a day job, because it's what I do outside of the MPL, wherein I do talent development. I look out for and I take care of the younger talents around the scene. So some of them are signed to our agency, same one I'm part of, and then some of them are just kids I took under my wing. Why not? And so far, it keeps me in check. It keeps me up to date as well. It keeps me sharp, because if I constantly look back and study their style and teach them how to do things, help them out, I get to do the same for me, because like, oh, do I do that? Do I practice what I preach? And then that keeps me sharp. And then do it all over again for about 3 months at a time. And then that's it.
Oh my God, Private. Does that sound like something similar to you? Because in NA, obviously, we know that our professionals are a little bit different. So why don't you quickly tell us about like what your days look like as well, so we, give a little bit of comparison.
Is involved, because I do have another profession that I do outside of this, which is like a normal 9 to 5 job, which I do. Through that, when I do have breaks, I'm watching constantly MPL, PH, MPL, SG. I'm watching every single thing that I can to kind of stay up to date, going back over things when it comes to the past broadcasts. And then, as you know, Dave, already, I'm going through all the screenshots of all the matches, putting all the data together. Because like I said, we don't really have it's not as organized in NA when it comes to all of that stuff. So I want to make sure that our casters, or at least people on our side, have that type of information for them that they can use during the cast. So I go through all the screenshots of all the matches, put that onto a data sheet, an Excel sheet, and then give it up to T-Rex, Leo, and all of them so that they can have everything all put together. But I mean, that's basically what it's been like for over here. It hasn't been when it comes to like I said, practicing with matches, streaming in between that 3 days, and that's been pretty much the biggest part of it.
Oh my god, and I surely hold fingers crossed that we're gonna have like dedicated full-time casters that can develop talent just like Leo, and there's great insights that we just hear from. There's a lot of stuff we can take notes for in North America region. But guys, we're gonna go ahead and take a short break. When we come back, we have a special guest a lot of you guys were very familiar with, and you guys would want to hear the backstory as well. Might be a pro player, might be a caster, who knows? I'm not gonna tell you until you come back. So make sure to do not go anywhere, have your stuff ready, and we'll see you guys after a short break.
Cheers.
right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another community interview. This time, we actually got a special guest from none other than Team Valley, the Basic. Now, a very, very exciting topic coming up, so make sure to like, subscribe, and turn the bell on to all notification bells. Without further ado, let me quickly introduce you to Leo and Basic. Hello.
Oh, man, Bryce, how you doing?
What's up? What's up?
Long time
How you
no
doing,
see,
Basic?
bro.
I know. It's been a while.
Now, Basic, before we get started on our interview here, I want to take a notice on your haircut. Did you just get your hair curled? Like, what's going on? Permed?
No, I just got a haircut.
Sheesh, it's a pretty good haircut. You know, I wonder why, like, there are people lining up. So, first of all, how are you feeling after the victory yesterday? You guys had a very, very interesting match against Ackerman.
I know. Yeah. We did have an interesting match. They were good. They got better, like I said. But I'm glad that we won. Now just one more game, and then it's Vegas time.
Okay, all right. Leo, is there anything that you noticed about basically? I know you are urging to ask some questions, so I won't want to hold you back. Go ahead.
No. My questions for Basic have been a year and a half, maybe 2 years in the making, and I've forgotten them, honestly. Because last time I saw Basic was in the studio for MPL Philippines Season 6 playoffs. You remember that, Basic?
Oh, no.
For playoffs, you were there. That was when you were with Onic PH.
Oh.
2020. That was a long time ago. See, my man forgot. So, what I wanted to ask you about now is, how do you feel playing with the Valley? You guys are a very new team. I'd like to call you guys the NA Super Team. How confident are you that you guys are gonna go straight to Vegas and you guys are gonna go fly to Jakarta and again show up? Like, how are you feeling? What's your gut feeling right now? Where are you at?
If I'm gonna be honest, like, we're not even that close. We still need some work, a lot of work to actually, and we need more practice with each other. And then I don't know, we gotta be disciplined, and there's a lot of work still. Like, our team needs work. We're all good in like mechanics, other stuff like that. Individual, we're good, but like as a team, I think we need more work.
Okay, so I want to add to Leo's question. Like, when you say as a team, we need more work, what do you mean by that specifically? Like, do you mean communication, game plan, draft? Like tell us about like your team dynamics right now.
Yeah, basically everything. Right now we gotta, I don't know. I feel like lacking a lot of things, like strategy. You know, with drafting a little bit. What else? Yeah, basically that's pretty much it.
All right. Okay. I mean, your next match is against Vendetta. I know Leo has been paying attention to Vendetta. I think that's one of the first team that you brought up. So, like, I guess I want to ask the question basically again, like before we ask Leo about the same thing, which is like, what do you think about your next match? Do you think you guys are fully prepared? Is there something you notice about Team Vendetta? Or are you feeling like fully confident? This is easy, bro. Just like, nah, just surrender already. You know, 5-minute games. Come on. Like, or is it more of a you guys need to do your homework? What's going on?
I feel like it's easier than Ackerman. Yeah, cause I feel like Ackerman knows our game style. I feel like they've been practicing every day to like adjust to our game styles. It's just funny like how they played yesterday. It's just a way to counter us basically. I see it from them. But against Vendetta, I don't know. I mean, of course we still gotta be worried about them, but I feel like they're gonna be easier than Ackerman. That's for sure.
Okay. Can I just say, one, to start, I was surprised how honest and vulnerable you are about how your chances are for Vegas and M4R, right? Like, hands down, I'm like, yo, the Valley's a super team, but Basic is honest. Like, we need work, man. We need to work together as a team. And then we jumped over, like, how do you feel about Vendetta? Yeah, I feel like they're going to be easier than Ackerman. So, it's true, though. Logically speaking, Ackerman, that was a turnaround. You guys were so close. But Vendetta went 3-2 against Simpsons. DSP could have been the one on top. DSP could have been the one you were facing today. So that's true. I think I agree that you guys should be confident.
Yeah. And we faced them in scrims. Like, I don't know. I feel like they're not that good.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Go ahead, Leo.
To follow up, I have one more thing. Since the NACT has started, I assume that you guys stopped scrimming with the teams competing, right? Have your scrims been good against teams outside? Like, I'm sure you guys have been in contact with other teams elsewhere. How have those been going since the competition had started?
Bro, no one want to scrim us. Like, it's only OSP who keep scrimming us. But other than that, it's so hard to find a scrim.
Oh.
That's why.
I mean,
If we will win this qualifiers, we want to go to Asia directly, like right away as soon as possible. Because I don't see any teams here that would want to scrim us after the tournament. Like, who want to practice if there's no?
Basically, I have a follow-up question to that. Why do you think that is? I mean, why do you think the teams in NA don't want to scrim the best teams? Because we're obviously from let's be honest here, the community's favorites, #1 pick to represent NA. We have the super team right in front of us. So, like, why are the teams like not gonna scrim against the best to improve themselves? Like, what do you think that reason is?
I don't even know, to be honest. Because I asked Gosu to scrim us, but Gosu didn't want to scrim us because one of our teammate streams the scrim, and the leader of the Gosu don't like that, so he was like, "Nah, we're not gonna scrim you guys." So I understand. And then the other teams, it's just they don't reply. Only OSP replies, so that's like our scrim partner for now. But other teams doesn't really want to scrim us.
Okay, Leo. I mean, I know we kind of discussed this before, but basic. So let's just assume if the Valley wins everything. Okay, I assume. I mean, I don't know. Right? I'm just assuming. Now, if you guys win everything, you go to M4. Is there a chance that we see Basic going back to MPL PH?
Oh no, no.
Dropping the bombs. No. What?
Why not?
I like it better here in NA, and then I don't know. I just don't want to go back to PH. Like I mean, like to PH, you know, like the weather. I don't like it. The traffic over there.
All right. Okay. All right. That's fair. I mean, if what you're talking about is what's around the MPL, that's what you'd rather not have. Then that's fine, because I also do not like the traffic. I also do not like the weather. AC is on about 99% of the time. But no, real quick, maybe you might want to reconsider, because the MPL has changed since you were last here, bro, right? Now it's the franchise. Salaries are up. Sponsors are everywhere. Events are live now. I mean, I'm sure you remember you debuted in Season 5. We had a live audience then every single day. Times 5, times 10 the audience then, honestly. So maybe think about it.
Okay, wait, no, before Basic do that, I might want to go to MPL PH now, okay? Leo, that was, I don't know what you're doing here, all right? Yo, that seemed pretty tempting. Yo, Basic, you're sure you're not gonna reconsider your opportunities, your options?
To be honest, for now, no. But like, who knows? Maybe something will change. But for now, just want to focus on this team, what I have right now, and I want to do good in M4. We want to do good in M4. We want to win it all. But to do that, we need a lot of work. I swear, like, we actually need a lot of work. We need a coach. I feel like we need a coach.
Is this a live call out to the universe? Again, we got friends. Yeah. We got friends, man.
This is an ad.
If we
all right.
Yeah, we need a coach. I feel like we really need a coach.
All right, guys. I think this is gonna be it for us. I'm sure I have a lot of questions to ask, Basic. But due to the time limitation that we have today, you might have to stay tuned on the North America channel for more interviews like this in the future. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and take a short break. Coming up, another very popular community members that you guys want to hear more about the backstory. So don't go anywhere. Get your coffee. We'll see you guys soon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, humans and pets alike, welcome back. Another time for another interview with the community's favorite. This time we have none other than GDI Kyle, the love manifestation himself. Now, start off this interview. I actually want to do a little something different. Compare the meta, I call it, right? Leo, now we're going to start off with some question that you might want to ask, you know, talking about the meta differences between PH and North America. Is there anything that you want to bring up?
Yeah, actually. G, how you doing, man? It is
I'm doing good.
It is a good morning over here. Are you also Eastern time? Yes?
I'm Central.
Okay, cool. All right.
So it's like 7:45.
Cool. Okay. So, real quick, meta comparison. Let's start this off. What was that? About a month ago when we hung out one time in Discord, or either that or I was watching you guys cast, and y'all brought up the Balmond situation, the Balmond Akai situation, and how I'm not sure where the discussion went, whether it was NA is following through or NA is setting a trend about the Akai and the Balmond situation. How do you feel about new junglers coming in? Because here in the top 8 alone, we've seen a little bit of Hayabusa, we've seen a little bit of Ling coming through. Where do you see that going?
Yeah, you know, so we've been seeing a lot of the fighters in the jungle, not so many of the assassins, and of course we've seen them coming out, and I feel like that's because a lot of teams have started to get used to the different ping styles that we offer. A lot of scrims have happened, and people are kind of getting used to that. Not only that, with some of the nerfs and the buffs that have been coming out, it's more viable sometimes to have an assassin that can do that backline peel and can take something. But, you know, to be honest, I think when the live event in Las Vegas comes, that whoever the teams that do make it, they're probably going to pull something out of the box that we've never seen in NA, just because it's going to be a live event and be a LAN game. But personally, I think that it's going to stay within the Kai, the Balmon. We've seen more of the sustain and just tankier heroes in the NA meta versus assassins.
Okay, I mean, Leo, I know that. No, I'm gonna bring up Blacklist again because they're doing something. They're really good with the UBE strategy, obviously. So with the Estes, I mean, a lot of time we've seen Blacklist also bring out Barats, also bring out Thamus. I think anything that in the jungle that is really tanking the front line with a support in the back with the ultimate bond experience. So, like, you think that? Why do you think that people use Barats to go against a Kai, for example? You know, like.
All right.
Because I think that's kind of interesting. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was a magic word that I was hoping G would bring up, because who was that? Who plays Barats in the next matches coming up?
Zane.
My notes. Yeah, Zane's a solid Barats. Here, is this? No, that's Balmond. All right, I can't even read my own handwriting. Anyways, there is a team in the top 4 or the top 8 that plays a lot of Barats, like at least 3 or 4 times now in
Ackerman?
the NACT Fall. There you go. So I was looking forward to the Barats coming in to be a natural predator to a lot of these tank junglers. And the reason why it works so well for Blacklist and for hopefully eventually the meta as a whole everywhere in MLBB is because it keeps these tanks honest, and then eventually you will form a triangle. The reason why it works well against the Akai or against the Tams, against who else? The Baksha. As funny as it is to see a dinosaur put in its mouth one giant meaty thing that's scorching. It's because it zones people out, and it's so sustainable. I believe right now, beating out 75-80% of junglers in the most capable of hands, I'd say. Just the mechanically sound dudes. Doesn't even have to be like an expert. Doesn't even have to be like a freaking Mobazane. It could be about anyone who is solid will do well with the Barats. So I'd like to say, watch out for Barats. Even without an Estes, even like with a solid Mathilda or a solid Rafaela, Estes is, rather, Barats is a monster.
Yeah, gee, and why do you think that because like Leo was bringing out in earlier, like why do you think NA region still have a lot of the assassin jungle, right? We see the Hayabusa, we even see the Link sometimes, and obviously the win rates are not the best. I think Hayabusa still have the 0% win rate so far in ACT. But why do you think our teams stick to it? Is it because they're trying to play to their strength? Like, is there something that you see behind the scene?
Yeah, so I mean, kind of looking into how they keep going for, you know, like a Hayabusa, a Ling, or a Lance, is that in a lot of games that we see that it's kind of hard if their team comp's not built to be able to get into that back line. A Ling, a Hayabusa, a Lance, they can all get into the back line, and then they have that escapability. But even going into like the Brats situation as well, I mean, it's you got to favor it for your team because the Brats can counter some of those, you know, objective heavy jungles in our current meta. It's just one of the great counters to be able to get them off the playing field for a quick second, the sustainability, but just overall assassins, I don't think we've seen people just utilize them to the fullest. Like, they're bringing them out, but they're still practicing the metas that we're constantly seeing, like the Kai, the Balmon, and you know, they just want the thickness in the jungle, and they just want the sustainability. And a lot of you know, easy peasies. About the only person that I've seen really bring out a Ling and it actually excel to be able to get into the back line and maybe even utilize the split push, and it just opens up some of that late game.
I mean, I think the meta right now is mainly towards the goal lane. I feel like a lot of times whoever's goal lane has more resources, able to, you know, leverage the team to get those resources, able to have the long run. And obviously that's why even in the mid lane we have some of the early game mages like Eve being popping off, obviously Lilia being one of the best. And that I need to go back to Leo again about the meta comparison, because that's something that I want to ask regarding the new patches, right? We've seen Jawhead being buffed. We've seen some items like Glowing One being changed, which makes a lot of mages like Valir, like Chang'e we don't want to mention because the item called Radiant Armor just counters those mages so fast. But what do you think about those mages? Why are they not being picked? Because I know Valir is really good against fighters.
You just had to say, I saw that low-key was like sliding and just, yo, what about Valir though? What about Valir? You had to say like Valir 3 times in the same sentence. What about Valir? I have to agree. Again, throwing someone out of range with a Searing Torrent is almost like a solid heavy spin. And that is a second skill. That's not even an ult. So why is Valir not showing up? Well, one thing I can't think about is Valir really doesn't do much in the long run compared to an Eve or a Pharsa or even a Lilia, because Eve, Pharsa compared to Lilia, Kagura are on different spectrums, right? You have the constant burst mobile, or rather not DOT, damage over time, mobile mages. That's Kagura and Lilia. And then you have the Eve and Pharsa, which is a one-time big time, like this is my box, this is my zone, you die if you come in. And your boy Valir falls in the middle. And your boy Valir solves certain problems that necessarily aren't always there. So he's lost between the two most efficient kinds of mages, and that's why we don't see him in mid. I'm not sure if there's a world wherein we see him in Rome. There was a time in 2021, 2020, wherein he was solid in Rome, much like a Selena or something like that. I don't know if we're going to see that coming up soon. But, two things. One, I can't keep my laughter in. G said they want the thickness in the jungle. Number two is, it sucks because we mentioned how gold lane is now the most important lane, and there's like 2 or 3 heroes there. I swear, there's only 2 or 3 heroes there that are valid, and why is that the most important lane? We were just talking about the jungle to start off the interview. That had like, what, 9 or 10 heroes that could be valid, and you're already counting the weird assassins. I hate that the assassins are weird, but right? Like, there's so much junglers. There's so many XP laners. There's at least 4 solid mid laners. Why are there only 2 or 3 marksmen? That's what's pissing me off now in this
well, I think people just haven't got to Layla, bro. Like, I think people just haven't explored the true inner power of Layla. Or like the goal lane Dunzo, the goal lane Hanzo or something like that, you know? But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, leave that thought to you to explore and discuss. Now, make sure to join our Discord for those discussions. We're gonna go ahead and go on a short break before our main show of the night come online. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you guys in a little bit.
following is a special presentation from E-Star Studios. Carry harder. Are we alone? Or does other intelligence exist? Rise above anonymous. Make unknowable legendary. No! M4. Jakarta. Who are you? What do you want to become? The universe is yours. Are you ready to own the world?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, humans and pets around the world, welcome to the 2022 North America Challenger Tournament Fall Season, the only path to M4 World Championship. Today, 2 teams will battle for another chance on this stage, and only one will stay. I'm your host, Assassin Dave. With me today, some people call him T-Rex like a dinosaur, somebody just call him Trex. But either way, he's a dinosaur on this caster's desk. The one and only Trex. With us today also, the legend who needs no more introduction, the person who get up when suns don't shine yet, just to drink 3 cups of coffee and bring an exciting show, the one and only Leo. How you guys doing today?
I am doing great, Dave. Once again, you do not ever disappoint with the introduction. Super excited to be here, but also sad that we have to watch a team leave tonight. This is going to be the first one we see go.
Absolutely, Leo. What do you think about that?
Actually, you had to remind me, man. I was almost over the fact that someone goes home tonight. Someone's dreams to represent NA at M4 had to end, but yeah, you know what? We're gonna bring it back up again. As they mentioned, I'm up early. I mean, now it's 9 a.m., so it's not so bad. But I'm just excited. Let's get into this.
Absolutely. Now, before we get into that, just want to quickly remind everyone who's watching today's amazing match of the day. Now, we got here today in NACT Fall Season because we had 100 teams who signed up, and only top 64 were carefully selected based on the highest current season rank to battle in a brutal round of elimination. The remaining 32 lucky teams then fought their way through another round of knockout stage to only 8 teams standing. Today, the first team will be completely crossed out from the NACT Fall Season, and we will repeat this natural selection process until only 2 teams remain by next weekend. It's until then, your champions will be flew all the way to Las Vegas, Nevada to battle for the ticket to Jakarta, Indonesia for the grand finals. Trex, first and foremost, why don't you remind our lovely viewers what our warriors are fighting for in this tournament?
Okay, so once again, first place gonna walk away with that ticket to Jakarta for M4 to represent us, but not only that, they get to leave Las Vegas with $10,000 cash and 75,000 in-game diamonds. Second place also leave them with a little something, $3,000 and 50,000 diamonds. In third place, they don't go to Vegas, but they still get some cash in their pockets, 1,500 in diamonds on top of that. And then even several teams below that get at least some diamonds to get themselves some skins.
And to compete for all those prizes, we got Leo lurking in all the streams and watching all the tournaments. Leo, why don't you walk us through those exciting brackets and talk about some of the matches that really caught your attention?
All right, so far we have a top 4 locked in. That's the Valley and Vendetta, but a best of 5 away from going to Vegas. And tonight's match is actually a lower bracket bout, so it's going to be Team Gosu versus LEGACi, and they will be fighting for the chance to face off Team First Blood, who fell in the hands of Vendetta. So there's still quite a few BO5s before we go to Vegas. I'm excited. A lot of the matches so far that have gone down went the distance. I mean, we got 1-3-2, a lot of 1-3s, and you know what? The sweeps, the clean sweeps, I don't even remember them. So again, it's very clear that any teams came out to play.
Yeah, absolutely. That is just using one word to describe muscle up. Very muscle up bracket. And for those who don't understand, this means amazing. That's right. Now, with that being said, the rosters are even more muscle up. Trex, what do you think about the roster we have today?
I mean, we'll look at Gosu first. They're on the left side. We have General, you know, a fan favorite, of course, been on the gold lane, and I think we're gonna have to watch out for the Wanwan, right? He's carried some games in that position, but also I think one of the most exciting players that so far has come into this top 8 is Shiroi Yuki, aka Gosu Zero, has really been leaning into some not your particular current junglers, bringing out some more assassin roles and making them work here and there. LEGACi as well, keeping it simple for us with Gold and EXP in their respective lanes. Two players we have to watch out for, but also Obi and Ken. Excited to see what Obi can bring to the table in that tank role, if he can make the big sets that his team needs to go against the Goliaths of Gosu.
Absolutely, Leo. And then there's something I want to ask you, because we just had this discussion about those assassin junglers. Now we know Zero from Team Gosu is the person who lead this trend. Now, is there any players among the two teams that you're, you know, paying a special eye to?
Well, the counterpart of said Yuki, first name Shiroi, is Ken from LEGACi, and he was actually very significant in their bouts against Ackerman, especially in that Akai, so I'm definitely looking forward to that jungler.
Absolutely. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we got news. The first game ban draft is already underway, so without further ado, we're going to quickly send it over to our incredible, amazing, brilliant, handsome Caster's desk.
All right, Leo, it's been a little bit. You know, we had some interviews, we talked a bit. I watched you guys, I laughed, I cried, but now we are here in the first draft. First pick, first ban, Gosu will be on the gun, and they're already starting it off. You mentioned Ken on the Akai, Gosu already taking it out, and it looks like the side of LEGACi is going to target possibly General a bit. Taking out this Melissa, I got a feeling we may see the Wanwan, may see the Claude come out too here.
That's just smart to do right now. Don't give General the 1-1. He's played it upwards of 5 times in NACT Fall so far. May have added over since we last saw him. So that being said, good call on the Melissa ban. I like the first ban Akai. They're not so shy about it. And oh, wow. My spotlight on Ken may be more than just me, because Gosu's onto him. Look at this, the Balmond and the Akai. Now what's left? I'm looking at maybe a Paquito for him, or, oh man, the big three's out. Maybe Barats. We did talk about Barats earlier, so that's still left out there.
Definitely a possibility. The Paquito also been very popular, but looking at this, and we talked about Zero favoring these assassin heroes, and I think this could be the strategy for them, right? Take out those bulky junglers and possibly free up the opportunity for something a bit more quick-footed, for something that would normally get bullied by the Balmond, that would get bullied by the Akai. But LEGACi also has some cards up their sleeves here. One thing they don't want to see is the Fanny on the field, even though there's not like, there's some possible counters, but still they know it's something Zero can thrive on, so we're gonna get rid of that here.
Yeah, so I guess you still have the whole Faramis Valentina dichotomy happening. I'm wondering if Gosu wants to play for that. Can Gosu actually bring it through? I mean, they're pretty solid on the Eve, the Farsa, and the Selena. They played all together just under a dozen times in NACT, so they can work that through. But it looks like they're forcing it out. It looks like, oh, they seem to be in Faramis country, man. Look at that Atlas ban. This does look like they're setting up for the Faramis.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely the possibilities there, right? And you're putting LEGACi in this position right now. It's like, do we just leave it all open, right? Do we go to another gold laner? And that way we leave, you know, the Valentina open for us to maybe deal with the Faramis as well, or something like that. One thing about, though, like, so many teams have been letting the Valentina and the Faramis through. It's been like, since this top 8 has started, since that last patch, it just slips through more and more. And we're even seeing it lose. Like, it's not the all-time win, but now they ban the Valentina. And at this point, is the Faramis going to be proud, or are they going to bring General up on that Wanwan, or even something else?
Oh, I love it. I love it. You know what? Given the gambit that Gosu brought out, LG is obliging, and boy oh boy are they playing on their court. You can't have all of these. You can't have a 1-1 and a Faramis together. So you just take one or the other, and then we'll answer back. Now, with that being said, man, I feel like LG has the better swing back. I definitely do feel like they have the better swing back. Whatever Gosu picks up here, it's not worth it. Oh man, LG's gonna win. LG's gonna win the swing back.
That's the hardest, but they do go for the Faramis. So I mean, it's solid, right? I mean, I'm wondering if they're gonna use it as, you know, the mage role and sacrifice some of that possible burst damage, or is Yue gonna pick this up for the roam? I don't know about you, but I've personally kind of liked it in the roam role, and especially if they go for something like the assassin here that's not maybe going to be a bit too quick and not really thrive from the sustainability. And also with all of these burst mages, the Farza becoming a bit more popular now sometimes, things like that, you really sacrifice that damage. And if General does not pick up the pieces, they're going to have very low damage, I feel, if they keep this Faramis in the mid lane.
Whoa! Au contraire. I mean, to both the picks and to what you just said, I actually like the Faramis in mid, especially if you're gonna go assassin junglers. But look at this. LG swings back with a Grok and Lilia. Neither have been very hot picks for them so far in NACT Fall. I mean, just looking at the stats numbers-wise, right? Reps. So they must be onto something. They may have discovered something in the past couple of days. Now, we did say, or at least I said, LG was going to win the swing back, but now look, Faramis plus Claude and Paquito. Where's 1-1? Where's 1-1?
I mean, the Claude would have been a good way to deal with the Cult Altar, right? And a good way to kind of bring down some of that damage. So they answer back. All right, fine. You don't want to pick it up in those first two. We're going to take that quick. I feel like General's going to be able to handle it, right? But here we go. Something spicy. The Phoveus getting locked into the EXP. Gonna help possibly deal with the Claude. Gonna possibly deal with the Paquito.
That is a legacy special. All right, in the hands of LGXP, his very namesake. They have played the Phoveus more than half a dozen times already in NACT. So as soon as they can, they will, and they just do their homework here, due diligence. They ban out the Esmeralda. No one's taking my shields away. I wonder why they like the Phoveus so much. There's got to be something here, man. It's such a specialty.
It's a weird, it's definitely like, I think it's like, it's 50-50, man. It is a gamble. I've seen it wreck teams. I've seen it been that one pick that can take a team to victory, but I've also seen it just fall apart. But they did pick it correctly, right? They picked it in that third pick last, so now they at least had the opportunity to ban out the Esmeralda. They have the opportunity to ban out some possible counters to it. I'm still wondering though, is this Paquito gonna be with is it gonna be on Zero? Is it gonna be on Yuki here? Or are they gonna maybe flex it over the XP side? I guess it'd be a hard beat against the Phoveus, right? He'd have a lot of trouble once level 4 comes in, so that might not actually be the answer.
Yeah, but again, putting the Paquito in the XP lane, it's still possible because Gosu is known to switch that around, flex it around. I wouldn't mind because in the first 2 minutes, if you can bury the Phoveus, it's over. Like, yes, once these big team fights happen, you are dashing around a lot, so you are going to trigger the demonic force quite a bit. But if they can bury XP, then it's good. Interesting pickup though. I mean, ban here, the Diggy. What are they afraid of? That there's not much CC in Gosu just yet.
Yeah, I'm definitely a little off. Maybe they have something planned to come. I mean, of course. I mean, they ban out the Diggy so that the Grok can't be as dealt with, right? If the side of Gosu wants to pick up this Diggy, they do have, so it could be something, right? I think one thing I want to take a look at here, right, is does Gosu continue to just like hammer into these marksmen, and with that, what is LEGACi gonna pick up here? The Melissa's gone, the Bruno's gone. There still is the Brody, but wondering, the Wan, that's now gone though. So I mean, I feel like General could definitely have a huge advantage here in this. Not only that, but last week we saw kind of interesting take on the Phoveus. The team just kind of completely went against it. It was like, listen, we're going to pick practically all dash heroes here. And it almost kind of gave the Phoveus a hard time. I was like, who do I target? Who do I deal with here? You know, and yes, he was able to demonic force onto one player, but then he's jumping onto the next and proccing onto the next. And it was almost like the answer to that Phoveus in a weird kind of way, right?
Yeah, they essentially overloaded the Phoveus, and that's very possible. I mean, it'll happen like once, twice, every few games. So I'm wondering if that is what Gosu's looking to do. But there's your answer. I mean, save for the Irithel and the Brody, the Clint is a safe go here. So looks like they're going for DOT, a little bit of burst here and there. Not much of a sustained team fight that LG wants to do. Now, we have Gosu looking to close up. They still need either a solid roam and a gold. No, that is confirmed. Rather, an XP. So we are going to see Roam! Faromis!
All right, so it will be the Roam Faramis. It's going to be going over to UA there. Fleur will pick up the Farza. So we got a nice front side. Not only that, but Zero on this Bratz, changing it up, something different than what we saw in the last round. You know, he's adapting. He knows that maybe it's not gonna work. I'm gonna bring in something a bit bulkier, and there's the Barats that we've been talking about for the past hour, right? So he brings that in, and with that, having the Farza behind, you know, you have that nice front-to-back composition, someone to create some presence in the front line as General comes in, and UA or Fleur is gonna be able to drop those feathered airstrikes.
I actually like Gosu's lineup. I'd hate to, again, keep making this all about MPLPH, but it looks very Blacklist. I mean, those are signature picks that our M3 World Champions would bring in, and this would not be out of their territory to have drafted in the last few weeks of the competition. But looking at LG, man, LEGACi, last pick in that Karina, it's very unken. If that makes sense. It's very unken because they only really have one solid way of CC, and that's the Grok. That's their only confirmed CC. That aside, they need to DOT and DPS and burst their way into a win. If Gosu has their way, if it's Gosu's initiation, then LG's left just holding multiple pieces of a puzzle they can't finish.
Yes, we will see what happens as we are now jumping in to game one. First series of the bottom bracket. This is Team Gosu going up against LEGACi. Will a LEGACi be made tonight, or will one of these teams fall? Definitely excited to see how this plays out, Leo.
And as it is, it's not a mirrored jungle, actually. It's vertical here between Ken and Zero. It's orange for the Barats, and then look at this. Look at how they're making a beeline for this little Wanderer.
Definitely going right for it. I'm excited to see how things move in once we get into like a few minutes. If Fleur can make the rotations with these, hold on a second. They might want to try to make things spicy very early on, but everyone backs off. But yeah, I'm wondering, oh my God, a flame shot from Phoveus comes up. First blood on the board already, Leo.
Oh man, UA. Again, this is something that you have when it's Roam Faramis. You really don't have this problem when you're in mid because you kind of anchor down. When you're Roam Faramis, you have to go around. You really have to spread around the utility you have. And at level 2, you have for the most part what you need. And look, they're gonna try to make up for it. There's a pull.
Gold is gonna get caught up, taken down. Yuki picking up that kill, so now it's 1-for-1 on the board. I would say taking out that gold lane is gonna be a bit more important as we creep into the game, though.
So far, so good. Stats say that Gold has a lot of kills. I'd say top 5 in NACT right now, but he also has a lot of deaths. So LG could be in their best interest to actually protect him. I don't know if Obi has the time, because Obi's spending a lot of time in mid. If these fast rotations towards Gold happens more often, then that's where we might see, and that might be the cause of the biggest gold lead. Oh, so far! Obi!
Obi able to flicker out, get out of that feathered airstrike, and now Fleur gonna quickly rotate down to this turtle, which Ken has already started, but all the members are here. The fight is about to break out. EXP comes in, Demonic Force locked onto Fleur, but the turtle goes over to Yuki. Ken now in a bad spot. JC trying to close the distance, can't quite get the finish, but Fleur does get taken out off cam. EXP able to pick that up with this Phoveus. Will he be able to escape though? Wild charge, the re-engage. Ken brought very low. Colt Altar comes out and goes is on them. They take the kill. EXP and Ken both go down, Leo.
All right, so we did mention in the draft how there's only one real solid CC for LEGACi, and that's in Obi's Wild Charge. But in the face of Gosu's utility, and again, if it's their fight to take, they were fighting on their side of the jungle, albeit a small corner of it. And then you have the critical mass of Yue's roaming Faramis. He already has a Cult Altar. He has a bit of CC as well with the Shadow Stampede. And then this is what happens. You have about 1,000 gold lead, maybe a little more, and eventually the map will start to turn blue. That's what Gosu wants, and they're in a spot where they can actually crank it up to 11. They can speed up. Look at Yue! Look at the confidence in this Faramis!
Yeah, I mean, I think that Faramis is going to be the key, right? It's going to be something that even if they get the one set, the one big CC set that they have, as you said, they're going to be able to they're going to be able to withstand that. They're going to be able to get away. Here it comes, a nice wild charge on Yue. He's going to be able to Shadow Stampede that out. Ken gets pulled back in, but once again, they're going to be able to deal with that initial attack that LEGACi brings. So if LEGACi wants to take this, how do they deal with that? Do they play a bit more responsive and wait for Gosu to come to them?
Yeah, so we already foreshadowed a little bit of what might happen, because what LEGACi wants to do is put together this giant puzzle of damage over time. But now I'm wondering, do they have enough peel to do that? Because it looks like they don't. Nash here is fine. He can pull the trigger on the black shoes. He's okay. So what does LEGACi do? Where do they find the angle? Well, number one is they have to time out the Cult Altar. Don't do it like this. Like, I'd say, let them have the big objectives and build up to where there's a point where Cult Altar doesn't matter anymore. That may be at the 6 or 7 minute mark. They need good items on their cores. Oh!
And a little bit of a play there. Turtle does go to the side of Gosu once again. LEGACi, I think at this point, LEGACi maybe just trying to bide some time for gold up here. Also, possibly for Phoveus to be able to actually do some things in that back line and just kind of playing the waiting game. But Gosu does not want to let that happen. We're only at 5 minutes in. Pretty big gold lead for the side of Gosu already. Items are starting to show up, Leo.
Endless battle on gold, and at least 5 minutes in, you have some semblance of build on XP here on the Phoveus. What happened about a minute or so ago? That was step 1 in the grocery list of things LG has to do to make it back in this game. They have to first force out the Cult Altar and then weave out of it. They can't lean into it quite yet. So that's 1, time out the Cult Altar. And then number 2 is get a solid pick off. Doesn't even matter. Can be Fleur, can be General, hell, even Zero if they can do that to a Barats. But that is their first and second step, and then they can go from there. That's how LEGACi can bounce back.
Yeah, and they're playing it passive, right? Even right there, you just see Team Ghost kind of coming through the river. LEGACi keeping vision on them, but wait a second, gold. Getting pulled back. General with the Blazing Duet. Obi does come in, tries to get the wild charge, but doesn't have anyone to back him up. No one able to take anything from Team Gosu. A kill and possibly a tower now going over to them. Luckily, the tower will get defend down on the bot side. A little bit of engagement. Still wondering. Wait a second. Daytona's welcome. Locked on. 2 EXP. JC shows up. Tries to get the knock-up. Will he get the finish? Dominance Force comes out, but still not enough. That is going to be another kill for the side of Gosu, and that gold tower is looking very, very slim.
Overextension up top, we did miss it. It was off camera where General was punished, and I get it. We've all been in this situation. Everyone watching, wherein you can swear you could take down the turret if only you had one more basic attack, but we didn't see that moment, and General had to bite it. Only if General had a kill streak, then maybe it would have been worth it for LEGACi. But the fact that that turret's still standing and they were able to get a punish made it worth it. Maybe that did give LEGACi what they needed to slowly come back, but Man, I don't know. It still definitely is Gosu's game to lose here. They're still in the driver's seat.
Yeah, definitely in the driver's seat. But for the viewers, if you guys missed it, we did have a giveaway come up on screen a few seconds ago. If you're watching on Facebook, all you have to do is tag a friend. And if you're in the NACT Discord, just hashtag NACT fall season, and you will be sent a unique gift code. So get those skins now. Leo, put the phone down. We don't need I don't think us casters are allowed to use this. But back to the game. I think Gosu definitely, kind of dominating right now, kind of feeling out, and it could still be their game to lose. But seeing them evolve right now, even with this last draft with Zero picking up the Barats, and I was a little iffy about it, wondering how they were going to be able to pull off this type of composition, and they're pulling it off very, very clean right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was a hashtag. Hashtag own the world. I will not let that sleep. M4, please use that hashtag. But no, looking at it so far, the Barats is doing monstrous work. Again, he didn't even need JC down there. He didn't need the Paquito to help take down the Phoveus, because it was actually just the Paquito triggering the Demonic Force, which let the Paquito live, the Phoveus live for maybe 2 or 3 seconds more. But if it was just Zero, it would have happened anyways. So maybe that would have helped General survive up top. So now looking at the map, not really much has changed. Again, 100% of turtles still went over to Gosu, taken there by Zero. It's at the point where in the next turtle, which no more. I was gonna say he can start taking turtles alone. That's how massive a Barats is in this current metagame.
Yeah, and especially a Barats at 2-0-2 at only 7 minutes in. Not only that, but Fleur right now has taken a death, but has been doing a decent job at making sure the positions, not just using those feathered airstrikes, as exact team fights, but clearing out waves, keeping LEGACi at bay before these objectives come up, right? So excited to see how that kind of continues to play out. And normally they would have someone to target onto Fleur here, but right now Obi kind of being forced to use that wild charge as the engage, not exactly as a peel or trying to stop ultimates, and they don't really have anyone else to get in there and stop it at this point.
Yep, and there's got to be some level of a mix of depression and a revelation that, oh no, my Guardian's barrier doesn't work against the Faramis. He can just Shadow Stampede out of it. That's the engage that has forced the top lane to overcommit, and now there's a fight in mid!
Big wild charge. The XP instantly uses that demonic force, tries to get on the floor, but the Wings Eye Wings comes out. General comes in though with the Blazing Duet, doing a lot of damage, able to dodge back out of the demonic force, and the XP is everywhere. Finally getting locked up. Back to the team, and they finish him off. That's another kill on the board for the side of Gosu, and that is what I kind of meant, Leo. We see the demonic force, and he goes to 3 or 4 different heroes, not able to really lock down one person because everyone is just dashing around.
And that's all the more impressive because it takes a lot of communication to orchestrate overloading a demonic force. We've all been in team fights wherein there's a Phoveus, and our instinct is to just clump up together and bear down on this massive slam dunking purple man. But here in that last team fight in mid, they made the most of that space. General was relatively safe. Fleur was relatively safe. Again, wings by wings away helps quite a bit. That's key right now to Team Gosu's, I'd say, what was that now? 4 or 5k gold lead. It's amazing. Now they're starting up Lord. And it's just Zero who's holding down the fort here. They're hiding in the bush.
They want them to make the engage on a Zero, right? They're like, yeah, just go attack our Barats and we're going to come around and just sandwich you guys up. So, and you said it, like Zero can just sit there and do this and not really have a problem. He can take any sort of big engage they want to be in. This Barats is definitely fed, and he wants to be fed more, right? So Lord now down to about 50%. LEGACi, though, looking for something here. Ken kind of holding the side of this wall, trying to find an angle. Obi does come in, taking a bit too much chip damage, though. Already down to half health. This could be a bad start. LEGACi, though, still trying to find something. Lord has restarted now, and both teams still it's slow.
An amazing feint by Gosu. It was all for naught because I believe the real team fight, the real Lord fight, the scramble is about to begin. All this time, they were just forcing out 5 members of LEGACi to defend against an inevitable Lord. But look down bottom. Look at your boy JC. He was just pushing the XP lane. Look, he's 2 turrets deep.
Yeah, and he could just keep doing this. He could just literally keep doing that, and unless LEGACi sends someone over, they don't even have to go for the Lord. They're like, listen, you guys want to mess with us at this Lord? We're gonna send JC down, get a couple towers from you, collect the chains, and walk away. And right now, Team Gosu just keeping it clean. A 5-6K gold lead at this point, and now JC's here. We're gonna start working on this Lord. Can LEGACi do something about it? Fleur brings down the feathered airstrike, trying to keep them up, but a possible conceal play. Obi comes in, wild charge. General picks up, but the Lord goes to Gosu still. Not enough from LEGACi. JC now picking up another kill. 2 members of LEGACi are down as Zero connects onto Ken here. JC also has his back. Misses the shot, trying to get something else, trying to find it. EXP does have that demonic force, but being patient with it, getting pulled back in, knows this is not the fight he wants to take. Let's try to stand ground and hold on.
3 Cs, 1 Gosu, that Lord, and that team fight. Again, a 2-for-none pickoff plus a Lord, huge win. 3 Cs, confidence, control, Claude. All right, General there just understood, and I think the shot call came from either him or Fleur to hold their ground and say when Cult Altar's coming out, say when there is going to be,
Does get deleted. Obi, though, will be next. General has his back, but General needs to try to get away from here. I love the quick response. Now JC, though, finding someone, able to pick up Nash. XP now all alone against 3, gets pulled back in from that Shadow Stampede, looking very low. General starting to shred down, and Lord is still coming. Zero marching down the bottom lane with it, uses the Daytona's welcome, able to lock onto Ken, taking a few tower shots, but he's bulky enough to do it. Maybe not bulky enough, though. Ken picks him up, a little overextending on that welcome. A decent push for Gosu, but possibly a little flawed in those final parts.
It's the Barats who got welcomed into the loving arms of LEGACi's inhibitor turrets. Now, not just the turret, you have to consider it was the turret. He spent, what, a good 5 or 6 seconds underneath it, plus 2 heroes. So yeah, definitely Zero overstayed his welcome and he was punished for it. Where did that put the turret? Just under half health. I'm saying that's not worth it. And if LEGACi can find ways to make Gosu commit like that, then maybe they can shrink the 6K gold lead. I'm hoping for maybe a 2K gold lead or a 1K gold lead. If they can, then they can fight back. It's clear that you can see the item difference. It's clear that LEGACi is short just yet. Look at their Clint here. Look at Gold. He has the Malefic Roar, has the Berserker's Fury. I'd say he needs one more item. I'm thinking maybe either a Haas Claws for some level of sustain. These team fights are going to go a long way. Or maybe a Bladed Spear just to throw no caution to the wind. Looking at Team Gosu this time around, they're happy. They're just fine here. Looking at Zero, he's about to build the Cursed Helm. He had a casual Molten Essence this whole time. So expect him to push turrets much faster, or lanes much faster in the next minute or so.
Most definitely a casual Molten Essence. No need to finish it out until now. Right now, one thing you pointed out, I think the opportunity, if we want to talk about win conditions, LEGACi, take advantage of Gosu being a little bit aggressive, like what we just saw from Zero, and try to find that. But Obi taking a lot of damage. General, the DHS is definitely starting to make its magic onto practically the only real front liner of LEGACi right now. EXP not really able to hold down either. Gosu taking their time. JC's kind of macroed up on that top lane. Maybe going to try to push into this mid as well, or just wait for the overall team fight. And he's just going to come in on the back here.
Yeah, this may sound like I'm crying over spilled milk, and it may be too little too late, but LEGACi's lineup, if they were ahead, if somehow they won the early game, they would be snowballing onto a sure victory. But right now on the defensive, I'm guessing those moments that you mentioned, that we talked about, wherein it's Team Gosu who's extending and over-committing, they'll only happen really in the base. So there's no use contesting this Lord. It's so hard for Ken to do it. Ken, please.
And he's trying, does get pulled back though. He is coming in, picks up the, but he may pay for his life, able to dash away. LEGACi just needs to hightail and run it. They've gotten what they came for. No jest at all. A beautiful steal from Ken there, Leo. I love it. I mean, I think some of the utilities of Gosu were used a little bit too early before that Lord was down. General used the Blazing Duet. The Shadow Stampede gets used up to pull Ken away, but it was too early, and LEGACi find that moment. They find the crack, and they take the Lord to buy some time here.
Superb shot calling. Gold lead, schmold lead, it doesn't matter. They counted out when those resources were out, and I didn't even notice. The retribution on Zero was off, and a lot of ults, a lot of green went down, and now look, another fight!
Duet comes in, lined up with the Feathered Airstrike. 2 members of LEGACi already down. Obi, Nash, a big damage dealer in the front line. Zero just gonna be able to work away at this Lord now. So just when we felt like LEGACi was biding some time, we're back to kind of the same exact position.
I mean, that Luminous Lord will help enhance the minion waves of LEGACi, so we should see the map somehow getting a little more red and somehow making it easier for them to keep tabs on where damage is coming from. But look, Ken!
That is rough. Ken and Fleur, once again, just kind of on point with this. Another tower possibly going to fall. One thing we can't say, Gold starting to put out some decent damage. A lot of bursts on a U-Wave, but the Cult Altar keeps them alive there. Gold searching. EXP comes in with the Demonic Force, able to land on top of the Detona's Welcome is here to welcome, and he's able to get out of it, though, with the Demonic Force. Pops on top of Fleur, and now LEGACi keeps on pushing in. General comes in with the Blazing Duet, instantly deleted, though. Immortality will try to save him. AXP finishes him. Fleur takes out Gold, though, so it's a 1-for-1 trade on the map. JC still looking for something. LEGACi forced to back off, but we're starting to see these team fights even out a little bit.
Nash is a monster. I mean, that 134 KDA score doesn't tell the story. It's so different from what we just noticed now. You see how much damage that Lilio was dropping? And that's what Pop General could have almost taken down Fleur too. So with that being said, yes, the team fights are almost evening out. And yes, LEGACi is getting much better at baiting out these key ults and these resources from Team Gosu. And it's slowly getting closer to the center. I mean, look at this, 54-48. I mean, yeah, it's still a pretty big gold lead. I'd say 5K, 6K, close to that. But the damage from LEGACi is starting to matter. DOT, fam. That's a story here. DOT.
Yeah, and I think as long as they can kind of, you know, you said at the very beginning, as long as they can wait out that Cult Altar and strike back. Another thing I think in that last team fight, EXP so close to getting brought into that Detona's Welcome, but the cooldown on the Demonic Force came just in time, or somebody flickered just in time for him to escape the jaws of that Barats. Now, with Lord being brought back up again, both teams, this time LEGACi seems a little more confident with it. They're not as backed off. Ken, he's feeling it, and they take out JC now on the bot side. This could be the opportunity for LEGACi to turn this around. Ken feels comfortable with his retry game. He's already stole 1 Lord. He thinks he can do this again. Maybe it's not even going to be a steal. Maybe LEGACi will be on top of this Lord fight. General trying to keep Obi at bay, but Obi wants the engage. Ken now pushing Team Gosu back with the rest of the team. Black Shoes does pop. Lord coming down. Fleur brings in goes to the side of LEGACi once again. That is huge, Leo.
That's 2 Lords now, and a huge trade, and at the price of Obi. Yes, please, I'll take that trade any day. Twice on Sundays. It's Sunday for me here in the Philippines. Amazing! LEGACi coming back, making headway, trailblazing on the map. They got their 6-man up top Lord pushing in. If nobody takes care of it, they're gonna get this tier 2. And slowly but surely, their minion waves are just thick. They are thick, as G says. Oh man, LEGACi, where did this come from?
They bided enough time, and now they are there. They have arrived. Lord marching down. Everyone's kind of hightailing it back to base, trying to prepare for this. General should be able to melt it down pretty quick, and as long as Gosu doesn't make any huge mistakes, JC comes on to Nash there. Nash forced to use those black shoes. Gosu should be able to defend this, but they still lose some ground. They lose some material. deletes General with that demonic force. Pulse Altar does come out, but also JC caught off with the wild charge. He's taken out, and even if EXP goes down here, it's okay, but he's still up. Feather Air Strike comes down, but Fleur is backed off before it can do any damage. LEGACi trying to finish this game right here, but Zero has now showed up. Down in game 1, ladies and gentlemen, goes to LEGACi.
Victory!
That's Mobile Legends. That's how you mount a comeback. You could literally have not watched the first 15 minutes and said, yo, that's definitely LEGACi winning, but wow.
Wow, they were able to come back. I mean, Gosu just felt it was so much confidence at the beginning. They were just rolling through, and we all kind of had this itching feeling that maybe LEGACi can bide some time here. Find that moment where they hit that spike. You said it, Nash started doing some nice damage, even with 3 deaths, and Gold as well. And it even seems like they were almost waiting for JC. They knew what he was going to do. They knew he was going to come to that backside, and Obi was ready. He had that wild charge to lock in, and once him and General went down, it was just GG's on that final push.
I mean, it's not exactly all just in the pickoffs, but it was monumental. Again, they made the most of the absence of these key heroes and key players from Gosu. And as the saying goes, man, when the cat's away, the mice go out to play. And again, in the first 15 minutes, definitely LEGACi were the mice. LEGACi were at the mercy of Gosu's kit, their utility, and just their initiative throughout the whole game for the most part. Like for the first 12-13 minutes, it was all just Gosu calling the shots. It was all of them saying when the fight happens, and it's shown in the kill score, right? 15-9. Even in the gold, it just spiked up in the last minute or so, 61k to 60. But so far, oh man, LEGACi, the way they pulled this off, I would say yes, stats say it's LGXP, but they were all pretty solid.
They were all definitely solid, but Phobius, man. LG, XP, the pick that we were iffy about. And like I said, 50-50. But in the end, he went for that build where he picked up these 3 damage items as well. Not full tank, not full damage, but enough damage that when he got on top of General in those last moments, he deleted him. Enough damage that Fleur had to consistently reposition and think about where she was going to be at in these team fights. So definitely one of the providing factors for LEGACi in that game.
Yeah, it's a slow build-up, and then there's so much that we can learn as players and as teams when they watch LEGACi play here, because yes, we have seen reverse sweeps. Yes, we have seen trade-offs in series wherein the first game was taken and then the rest, they just run out of gas. But if you're playing like this, if you're playing like LEGACi and you have a game plan all throughout that really only sees payoff in the last 5 minutes of the game, that's definitely a weapon that you can employ here in NACT.
Yeah, so, I mean, looking at this, where do you think Gosu went wrong, Leo? What was the downfall, or was it just LEGACi picking it up?
It's definitely the latter. LEGACi is a team that you have to watch out for because, again, in the face of onslaught that Gosu brought in, very few teams can actually stand their ground. But for the first question, did Gosu let go? No, it's more of just LEGACi picked up on their patterns. It was more just Gosu playing the same way. I hate to say resting on their laurels, but yeah, no, it's easy to kind of rely on a lead that big and then lose sight of what's actually happening. Signs of that were clear when Ken stole the Lord right in your face. Something tells me they were a little too carefree with their major resources.
Most definitely. So let's see if Gosu can pick up the pieces here and try to come back, because we are coming in now to game 2, but this is going to be a full best of 5. So plenty of time for either team to come out on top here. LEGACi will be on the gun with first pick, first ban, Leo.
All right, so this is a solid way to start off. They were on the red, so now to keep the momentum going and to keep switching it up, LEGACi going onto the blue side this time. Not much changed though. Red side still banning out the Valentina, that's Gosu. And then on the play, it's LG who is taking out the Fanny. I'm wondering, nobody's afraid of Faramis anymore. That's what I'm reading here in this first phase. Nobody's afraid of the Faramis anymore.
It's true, and I'm wondering if, like, I haven't been paying attention to much of the games overseas, but it just seems like it's been creeping more and more in over here, and teams have been losing with it more and more. When teams prio it, there are those few teams and those few players, Hoon, for example, on the Valley, or Shark, when he's on it, either of them stars with it. A few teams that you really don't want to let it over, but into a game-by-game basis, it is not always the most threatening thing. Now, some more bans coming in, the Paquito getting taken out. I like it. Even though JC did possibly get caught off there, I still think he was a problem, and this could alleviate some of that early game pressure that Gosu brought last time.
Yeah, no, it's a solid ban here. You're covering up both XP lane and jungle Paquito possibilities, and that's definitely something that you want to take off your back, or at least lighten up the load when it comes to drafting. Because if I'm not mistaken, a lot of these teams here in NACT don't have dedicated coaches. So as players, it's a good thing to actually have both comfort and peace of mind when you're drafting. That's what makes the LEGACi so strong too. You're able to flex that hero, and he's so good at these objective takes. As you saw in game 1, they banned it out clearly. So I guess that's what they're going with here with the Paquito ban. And as well, Gosu taking out the Lilia. Oh, Nash on the Lilia. I said how the KDA line doesn't really tell the whole story. Gosu knows.
Yeah, and I think Nash did a good job towards, and especially for normally the Lilia really kind of can do some damage in the beginning, but Nash, even with taking those deaths, was able to make that hero shine as we went more and more through the game. So Gosu switching up the bans, something I definitely like to see, is paying some respects to LEGACi here, right? Probably going to approach the whole draft a little bit differently. I think, they did probably get a little lackadaisy as we went into that game, and the early aggression that force in could work, but they have to be able to continue it through and not let, LEGACi did a great job at just postponing it, at just kind of waiting it out and not letting Gosu break any of those inhibitors, not letting Gosu just walk all over them. They were able to bide that time. And if Gosu wants to come in with that, we're going to just ram down in the beginning and home in, they're going to need to do it to its maximum potential, because LEGACi's showing they're good at waiting for their spike.
They were actually prepared for it, and I'm glad that they had damage prioritized instead of CC or peel. So now in the blue side, I wonder if they can put that together again. I was just about to say the LEGACi is open, the Atlas is open, the Claude is open, even the Faramis is open. There's so many heroes out there that they can pick up, and hell, even the Grok. So if you go Grok, LEGACi, that's it. Your peel and your CC is solid. I'm talking about LG here. I wonder how Gosu swings back.
Yeah, you mentioned it, the Faramis. Will they prio that? They just, they had it last time. They still lost it. Do we want to switch it up now? The Claude is open. And again, do we take that last loss as like, all these heroes just aren't going to work? But they bring in the Diggy with that open, should be something to help deal with the LEGACi. Now, I've slowly become a fan of the Diggy recently, not only for the ultimate, but I think that second skill, that reverse time, can really help create the peel for your team, and really help, especially with some of these bulkier physical junglers that want to just jump into you, right? You can help your team get away in those dire situations.
Oh, of course. Just one more thing about the Diggy is, yes, the reverse time is solid, and it displaces team fights. As well, it kind of shuts the door halfway on Atlas. So you have to think twice about picking up Atlas if there is a Diggy on the other side. So that being said, of course, if it's LG, you have to play the Phoveus, right? LGXP loves his Phoveus. He picks it up, and then there's a Bruno. So side lanes are set for LG. Yeah, no, I'm wondering, do they pick up the Esmeralda here? There it is, of course.
That's the risk, right? Last time they picked up the Phoveus on second pick side, and they were able to kind of do it sneakily and then ban out the Esmeralda, but now the counter's there. Something that can not let them have a fun early game at all. Now, you mentioned their off lanes are secured. At this point, Gosu coming into the second bans here. Do we home in on the roams? And you're kind of, with that LEGACi, it's a hard place to ban, right? Do we just go into mages instead? Because if we ban out roams or we ban out junglers, they can always move that Akai around and just deal with whatever you decide to ban here.
So it looks like they are cracking down on roam. Talking about Gosu. What I was gonna suggest is crack down on mid, not even just specifically mid mages or tanks, maybe both, just to make sure that General gets a good time farming, and then Zero wins a majority of his early game objective takes. He still has a lot of heroes. There's still the Barats out there, the Thams still out there. Solid objective taking junglers, so they don't have to worry about that. I'm guessing leave the jungle alone, don't really think about it, and then focus on, again, winning that mid lane. This is for Gosu.
Most definitely. Now, Lunox getting taken out, a nice way to deal, stopping them from having something that can shred down this Phoveus, right? That can shred down the Akai. Finally, the Faramis ban does come in from Gosu, so getting rid of some of that mid lane possibilities. And I think it's a good ban towards the end of this drafting phase, right? It's something that kind of slept through, but now with these comps kind of rounding out, I don't think I want to see a Faramis paired up with this bulky Akai and this Phoveus, so Gosu kind of covering some of these bases.
Yep, and I would not be surprised if LG takes out another solid mid laner, because their box is solid, but they have to get in onto you. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was an Eve or a Farsa. There it is. All right, cool. Hate when I'm right, but there it is. So,
What do we need? We need a jungler and a mage from the side of Gosu here. They bring in that Farsa. What is that, 2 for 2 now, Leo? 2 for 2?
Yeah.
Holland?
Yeah, again, they just needed a solid mid. They needed a way for Zero to do his thing in the early game, and then for General to get there. So, Gosu, we're on the same wavelength.
Most definitely. Now, LEGACi, though, gonna need to pick up a roam here. The Grok's down, so we're gonna need to see Obi in something a little bit different here. Do they want to go for something maybe more supporty here? Maybe like the Matilda or something like that. But I know they'll need some damage, and with the Farsa gone, they'll need a strong mage behind that, right? So kind of wondering what they're gonna pick up here.
It's tough for LG here. I was gonna say Nash lost his Lilia, so now he's playing a little bit of range. You have to have an answer to the Farsa. So currently that's a Sicilian. Since Eve is out, I was gonna say Savior could be a solid secondary choice here. But looking at LEGACi's, they played Savior a few times here in NACT already. So instead they go for the Sicilian. They want some late game insurance, which won them game 1. And then they also put the Franco on Obi. So what they're doing here, again, is they're overloading the answers from Gosu. They are just giving the Diggy an ultimatum. It's like, Yue, hey, pop it now or you'll die. Pop it now. And they can do that. They did that in game 1. They can do that here too.
Oh, and Zero now comes in with the Barats once again. I think they felt pretty comfortable last time, and this time they're going to go for that. One thing I think we're going to have to watch out for, that reverse time could be crucial, right? And if it's not used correctly and Akai does get that heavy spin in, we're looking at a lot of procs for this Phoveus on pretty much anyone they want, right? A lot of ways for Phoveus to get into that fight very quickly, and General also gonna need to keep his eye out. Towards the end game, AXP was on him. So once again, General's on another dashy marksman. Gonna need to be careful, because if he gets deleted once again like last time, it could be a lot of trouble for Gosu here.
Yep, so that being said, I think he's fine. General should be okay. Could be the same story we're telling from game 1, because again, his Claude in game 1 did pretty good. But here on this 1-1, especially with rotations from Fleur, should be a little better. Again, just don't rest on your laurels. Keep it in. You get the kill. You got your hands on your opponent's neck. Just get at it.
Yeah, so let's see how this goes as we jump into game 2. This is LEGACi up against Team Gosu in the lower bracket of NACT fall season. Only one team will stay in this bracket. Another will fall and leave today.
Here we go. Another vertical side push, but look, so much pressure on Fleur.
Yeah, they've been I mean, last time they were pretty on Fleur, able to...
Silver lining for Gosu there would be that it was Nash. I'm wondering what happened there. I wonder why Nash was a little too forward.
Maybe a possible problem. EXP comes in on to 0 here. Does get the proc once again, but still gets swallowed up by the Daytona's welcome. Ken and EXP are here, though, to keep on facing 2 against 4. Obi now showing up to the fight as EXP continues to dunk on top of them, forcing Gosu back into their own home. And now Ken's going to eat up some of this camp. And LEGACi right now feeling themselves, even with sort of this late game composition, they're able to apply some pressure in this laning phase.
Yep, it's the top 8 of NACT, but XP from LG making it look like it's All-Star Weekend already with the slam dunks coming out 3 minutes in. So far, so good, because this is putting
crack and they're homing in. Gosu, though, trying to find something in response, taking a tower in the mid game, so at least opening up the field for themselves a bit here.
Trex, you're not wrong. We are approaching the mid game. This could be the last turtle coming up in about 20 seconds. So far, so good. Again, they force a switch up. And even this lane isn't safe for General. But they put him there so that eventually they can answer back and they can maybe put some gold on him when this turtle comes up. Because yes, LEGACi has found their groove. They have evened out the gold and have slowly built up a small lead, maybe 200, 300 gold. But for now, Gosu is still in the driver's seat. It's still their game to lose. And look, up top, they got a little skirmish up there. Oh!
General goes down again, Leo. This is definitely bad. Maybe they will be able to take turtle here. No, Ken takes it. Gosu on the back foot of this game, only in the mid place. General 0-3 and no turtles. LEGACi has taken everything. They are pressing Team Gosu right now, starving them in a position that we thought they were going to be the late game heroes. And when you're already catching the lead, when you're already taking towers and just dominating with this type of performance, and you still have the Cecilion as insurance for your late side, you still have the Bruno, it can definitely be a huge problem.
Yeah, every team fight that LEGACi wins, as we go later and later into this game, it's all the more inevitable. We may be seeing them at match point. General again!
The Phobius. This is bad. General's having a rough here right now, Leo. 0-4. Taking a look at the items. I mean, you can see the difference right now. Gold with almost 2,000 ahead of General. This is going to be a problem, Leo.
Yeah, that's an understatement. That's the least of their problems. Because it's come to the point where, again, yeah, 8 minutes. This is actually sooner than I expected. LEGACi is crossing the river, and they are living in Gosu's jungle. Look at this. Not just General's going to start having a bad day. Even Zero is going to start getting deflated as his barats. Where does he find farm now?
Possibly something. Yue goes down again. I don't know. Like, where do they find farm? They're in their jungle. It's going to be hard for him to even get his passives up. It's going to be hard for him to even, get to that bulky state to where he can be the barats that you need to be for your team, right? And with him not even able to do that, they're just able to continuously get to General. I'm wondering if at this point, General really just needs to stay with the team because they're catching him off regularly, right? They're catching him away and they're picking on that weak point right now. So I think they just need to enclose themselves and wait for the onslaught that is coming, wait for a crack in LEGACi's armor right now.
Yep, they have to envelope General in the bubble wrap that is their bodies. They have to body block for the General at this point. If they can't do that, have him live under a turret. Base turret at best. I think that's what has to happen here for this 1-1, who just picked up the Demon Hunter sword. Should do well if he spots out Ken on the Akai, or maybe even Obi, but they've all built casual steel leg plates. Now turned into a dominance ice for Ken here. Man, LEGACi's eating so good. LEGACi is eating good. They are 4K ahead, almost 5K ahead now.
Yeah, I mean, one thing for Gosu here I will say is Fleur. At least Fleur's gone 0 deaths. She's still a little bit behind, but she's got the lightning truncheon on, right? So we might see a bit more damage if she can find the position, right? And not only that, 0 as well. He was sitting at around 6k gold there, hasn't taken a death. So maybe there's some pickup there. The main thing is Yue continues to get deleted, just like what we saw there. And that's the sacrifice you take by picking up that, support roam, especially when you're dying early on. You have no way to be bulky, and you're trying to be in the front side, trying to make peel for your team, but you're taken down too fast. Now Lord is coming up onto this bottom inhibitor. He's going to be able to make it in. Not to mention, middle inhibitor will go down as well as Zero and JC try to fend off on the bot side. Lord brought down about 50%, but Ken comes in. A nice heavy spin onto Zero there. Zero goes down. The shutdown for LG Gold there. Make it a mega, make it a double. They're on the base. Gosu in a bad place. The base may go down here. They have the minions, and they're going to take this game. Game 2 goes to LEGACi.
And in much faster fashion than in Game 1. Game 1 was a clear comeback. Game 2, all they needed was a switch. All they needed was to figure out that they were ahead at 6 or 7 minutes, and they made this late game-centric lineup look like it was coming in quick. Like, I don't even know where they found that. Also, again, I noted how Nash was a little careless with the Sicilian, but that didn't even matter. I could have thought he was playing somewhat like a Kagura or something. It's like his Lilia didn't even leave.
Definitely doing some great damage. There are some heartbroken viewers right now wanting Gosu to stand up, but LEGACi is beating the odds. I think everyone came into this series thinking LEGACi was getting thrown out, but how the tables have turned, Leo. Right now, LEGACi holding a strong lead, and if Gosu wants to come back here, they're going to need to take 3 consecutively. They're going to need to take 3 whole games in a row. I'm not counting it out. We've seen things like this happen. We've seen teams beat the odds, but right now, Gosu in a bad spot. Now, let's take a look at these KDAs. Let's take a look at some of these final items, Leo.
Yep, Gosu, especially looking at General, wasn't even given a chance to build up to half, right? They only have the Corrosion Sight and the DHS. More times than not, you are going to die, even if it was just Nash who saw you. Especially given this 11-minute... What? No! We ended at 11 minutes?
Yeah. Yes. We went from a late game game 1, LEGACi pulling it off, to game 2, them coming in and just sweeping, Leo.
Okay, so that being said, you see now how there are some gaping holes in the whole Barats plus win mid lane situation. It looks like LEGACi just, again, I think you mentioned this earlier, Trex, just found that weak point. They found the wound, put salt in it, pressed down on it hard, and just did not let go. That's what happened here. General had, as you put it, a bad day, and it's a massive reset he has to go through here. This is where it's all started.
Yeah, I mean, look, from the jump, from the beginning, they knew what the condition was. We need to bully General this game. And from the start, we see those swing arounds coming from Ken onto that gold lane repeatedly. I think it happened 2 times in like the first 5 minutes. And even here on these turtles, Ken cleanly doing the job for his team. And a lot of time, XP bought the bullet like that time. We saw it in that very first skirmish. XP bites the bullet, but he did it for his team and was able to keep them in this game and eventually keep them dominating. There goes another pick from Ken there. I mean, and I think by the time we saw General go down a 4th time, I think it happens a little bit later. Here's number 3. That was number 4 right there. By that point, I think it was kind of a wraps for the side of Gosu there.
Yeah, by about the 7 or 8 minute mark, the writing was on the wall, because that's when General just died, respawn, and then you mentioned like, yo, General's having a bad day. Yeah, he's actually having, I don't know, man. I hate to bear down on one hero or one player like this, but you saw the highlights, you saw the final results. They have to recover here. They have to reset hard, and it has to start with General.
Most definitely. Now, if you guys are watching, we do have a super surprise gift time. Redeem the code on the screen to get the Xylong Blazing Lance skin now. Only 30 users can get this. The redeem link is in the description. This is huge. I mean, it's a cool skin. It's a pretty cool skin, I would say myself, and it's pretty limited. You know, you got to pay some diamonds for it. So this is a chance for 30 people to get it for free. Take your time to do that. Make sure you come right back, though, because we will miss you guys, and you guys don't want to miss this next game. Now, back to what's happening here, Leo. Gosu. I mean, there's definitely some possibilities. The thing is from game 1, LEGACi kind of comes back. They get bullied a little bit in the beginning. They come back. Gosu gets their backs against the walls and end up losing. Game 2, Gosu starts with their backs against the wall and aren't able to try to push that game out, right? So is that one of the problems here? You know, do they need to kind of be able to deal with the pressure and kind of, you know, move around, deal with it, and then be able to bide time? Because LEGACi did a great job at that. Gosu not doing well playing from behind. Now we are jumping into the second draft here, Leo. Let me hear your thoughts.
All right, so Trex, it's Gosu on blue. LG answering back. I'm hearing 3 questions. Can they? Will they? How can they? All right, we're talking about Gosu bringing it back to LG. Can they? Definitely yes. Will they? I'm not so sure if they can do it from the blue side, but how is, well, changing it up. I think Gosu has to change it up, and I don't know if they have it in their books or are they prepared for this, but maybe give General here a hero that is self-sustaining. Give General here a way to, I was going to say the Melissa. Go away is such a great tool to, again, just live under a turret, even in the face of 2 or 3 heroes in the early to mid, and then get away with it. But, yeah, get away. But, man, now that LG banned it out, they understood. Again, writing is on the wall. Momentum is on our side. You have to pull something out from out of nowhere and fight back like you never have. I'm wondering how Gosu's gonna do that here.
Yeah, maybe they go back to their roots. Maybe they take Zero as well off of the Baratz pick and put him on something that he's a bit more comfortable with. I mean, we're on game 3, right? You're at a point where it's like, all right, we have to make a big decision here. We have to decide how we're gonna draft this game, because if we lose it again, we're going home, right? So do we make the huge decision to maybe try something that a lot of people may disagree against, but has worked for them, right? I'm wondering if, because you're right, we can't just put it on General, we can't just put it anywhere. There just seems to be a slight flaw in the whole composition, right? Something that they're not able to catch up with LEGACi on right now. So they need to make something huge here. All the bans are in. The Phobius does finally get banned out here, and now Zero picking up the Akai. Still a bulky hero, but at least they changed up something. They got rid of that Phobius there.
Yep, off to a great start already. They are switching it up, and one way to do it is not so drastically. You don't want to quit cold turkey, as they say. You kind of want to take baby steps, and maybe this is the road to recovery. But by picking up the Akai here, you're leaving open a lot for LG. There's still the Grok. There's the Lilia. Again, this is very reminiscent of their game 1 winning draft. They could also go ahead and, they could go the Atlas. Yeah, no, Atlas was banned in game 1. They could do this here. The ball is still in LG's court, Trek, is what I'm trying to say. LG still calls the shots, especially in this match point situation. Yeah, it's up to Gosu here to really switch it up.
They do. They pick up a solid front side though, right? With the Akai and now the Grok to create some peel. But once again, you said it. There's that Atlas that's been getting banned out by Gosu for a while now. I don't think it's gonna be super easy to land those with the heavy spin. Some possibilities to deal with that, but it's still always a threat. A good Atlas, hit that flicker in. It doesn't always have to be a second skill in or a dash in. You can make it happen, and that is just always looming. Now with the Yve pick coming in,
I'm liking it so far. Gosu has a great box. They are winning most mid lane or huge objective fights, at least on paper, I can see for the first 7-8 minutes. But the answer by LG is the Esmeralda in the Esmeralda spot. This is where you pick up the Esmeralda and then immediately ban the Dairoth. I'm actually liking this. For the first time in a while, XP is winning an XP lane. Like, on paper, he's winning this XP lane.
Most definitely. They've been doing it. I mean, overall, they've been, with their bans in their draft overall, and fitting LG into a good position when they pick him. And then, once again, they're on the second pick side. They're on the blue side here. And they're going to pick up LG in that last spot and then ban out the counters and try to give him a good game. And when he's been having a good game, he carries his team to victory, whether it's the Phoveus and now possibly even the Esmeralda here. So maybe it's not, I haven't seen it. It's not all gold lanes sometimes. The EXP lanes have been changing things recently.
Yep, Trex, you put it so well. If LGXP is having a good game, LGXP wins in 11 minutes. That's what happened in game 2. That's what happened to that Phoveus. Again, he was calling slam dunk competitions on a Tuesday. It's a Sunday for me. It's a Saturday night for you guys. But you know what I mean? Like that's where the metaphor comes in.
Sunday is coming early if LG can take game 3. Not only, I mean, and it could be a sweep. I mean, it could be the second sweep of the top 8, which could be huge, but you are looking at a strong side from Gosu here, right? I mean, you said it. They have a great box to play in right now, and that's going to be pivotal. The problem is, as they just need to keep that Esmeralda away from Yves. Fleur, she's had some issues with these backline mages finding the positions, or maybe not had issues, but LG's just done a great job at dealing with Fleur, not letting her ever really set up those ultimates from the Feathered Airstrike. And now, can they do it again against this world manipulation?
Yeah, it's tough to be a Pharsa here. If LG does pick up a Pharsa on Nash, they won't have to because they have a Lily. I forgot. Again, it's so rare that a signature hero this strong gets put through, so my brain was blocking out the Lilia. But yeah, no, they're not going to have to play with Gosu's box. I think the approach here for LEGACi might be, again, like they did in game 1. We wait for these key ults and these resources to come through. I'm talking about heavy spin, real world manipulation, even wild charge. That's a lot that you have to count, but they're so good at counting. Again, it's that same game wherein Ken counted Retribution, Detna's Welcome, all of those skills, and then he just said, I'm just gonna walk in, take this Lord. So it's possible. I'm not saying it is gonna happen or not, but it's possible. Weird swing out. I wonder what LG picked up here.
Yeah, we had a miss there, huh? So we did miss up what LG picked up. I'm sure we'll figure it out soon. General, though, does lock in the Claude. I think game 1, he had a decent shot with the Claude, right? One of the things that ended up being a problem was the Phoveus. That's gone now. Maybe he can kind of deal with this Esmeralda, deal with the Obi. I know in game 1 when he got to DHS, he was doing decent, right? He was able to really melt down Obi and melt down those tanky frontliners. And now Ken picking up the Barats, almost feeding into that. Still a strong pick, but General may be able to thrive in this kind of enemy composition.
Yeah, General here can weave in and out. I'm hoping he picks up a Purify. He definitely needs a Purify here, not a Sprint, so that, you add another item to the long grocery list of things LGS account for, and then maybe, yeah, they are good at counting, but maybe you overload the amount of time and resources they're using to keep tabs on that, and then you can get away with it. So now that LG rounded out their lineup with a Barats and with Gold picking up a Brody here, that is indeed a Brody, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
The only thing I'm short on, or the only thing I'm feeling weird about, is their range. They are so in your face. They are losing the range fight here, no doubt. So LG is gonna have to struggle with that.
Yeah, and we will see if they struggle, because this is game 3. Team Gosu against LEGACi. LEGACi holding the lead right now, 2 games. If they win this game right here, Gosu will be out. So Gosu trying to make a stance here. The question on everybody's minds is, can they do it, Leo?
And they'll have to show us here right now. Look at that quick take by Ken on the purple. And, oh, dude, 0!
Already having some trouble, already pressure from the side of LEGACi. And you said it, they got to be in their face, but they are there in their face already. And Gosu is going to have to be able to take that onslaught, especially if LEGACi brings some early aggression like what they brought in the last game.
Yeah, we did say in the draft that Gosu wins a lot of these major team fights in the first half of the game, I'd say. But with the way LEGACi is playing, they can force out these huge engagements, as they just did. That was a 4-on-2, 4-on-1, pressuring 0. So, yeah, LEGACi can make like game 2 again. They can just do what they did in game 2, and I'm hoping that they do, because LEGACi's draft is so bad in the late game. Like, there's very little scaling here.
Yeah, but I mean, Gosu, though, trying to make some plays here. One thing that LEGACi's been doing is these big rotations early on, right? Like you said, it was like 4v2 right there. EXP is quick to move down, quick to rotate and get involved very early on. Maybe sacrificing a little bit of macro, but in the end, it does come out. Possible fight, though, on the mid side. Real-world manipulation does come down. 0 taking a bit too much damage, and Fleur is also forced to run away, but EXP is here for the day, able to take out 0, getting first blood for his team. Turtle does go to the side of LEGACi. Tona's welcome comes in. JC will be next on the chopping block, goes down, and now LEGACi is going to move into Gosu's jungle, and there's nothing they can do about it right now.
Oh, the way Yue put down that Guardian's barrier left about just enough for EXP to finesse on through. Could have been a kill, could have been at least the first sign of life from Gosu to take down that Esmeralda, but no, LEGACi had their cake and ate it too, and it's not even their cake to begin with, it was Gosu's. That was the purple of 0 that they took, and slowly but surely they are gonna grow this almost 2,000 gold lead, and we're just at 3 minutes. This is the strongest LEGACi has been in this best of 5.
Yeah, they've just continued to grow, right? Trying to build a legacy for themselves right now by taking down the Goliaths of Gosu. And Gosu is definitely falling behind us a little bit. I mean, you said it. We're 3 minutes in, 2,000 gold. That is pretty huge. We're talking 1,000 gold a minute almost at this point. Another turtle will be coming up, not for another 45 seconds though, but LEGACi is just staying in their face right now, Leo.
Yeah, LEGACi, if you could put up a heat map for where the LEGACi players are, majority on the side of Gosu. And you don't see this kind of aggression early on, but that's what LEGACi's playing with, this confidence and this momentum. That's why they can do this early.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that was the answer that they needed, right? Like, and that's something I pointed out. I think Gosu has a little trouble when they are, pushed against. They have a little trouble, having that rubber band to bounce back. And if they can't bounce back, when it gets to this mid game, when we really start creeping into here, LEGACi's just gonna roll on through. Turtle will be up, and I don't think Gosu may not even try to contest this, but we do see 0 starting to rotate up, but Obi and Nash are ready, waiting in this bush, waiting for the moment. Obi does have a Fatal Lynx. He's going to try to maybe connect something here. General getting pushed back, and Ken takes that turtle. Gosu unable to even fight for it.
Yeah, that was a clean take. LEGACi played that turtle take like a Lord take, like a lot of early Lords, at least in the games I've casted in the past 6 months to 9 months. Sometimes you don't even contest first Lord. That's what that turtle looked like. And now look, Obi's underneath!
Oh, this is bad. He does miss the Fatal Lynx. General able to escape from it. Yue comes in, gets the wild charge, paired up with this heavy spin. Gold gonna go down here. Nice kill going into the hands of 0. But Nash tries to pull something off, not able to catch Yue. And now Nash in a bad spot. No black shoes, so the double kill goes to 0. But Ken shows up in the nick of time. It is a bloodbath, and he's able to pick up Fleur there. So getting a little something in exchange for the 2 deaths that just happened.
Huge punish by Gosu down there. Glad that they got 2 kills. And again, it's their turn to show us their prowess at counting out resources. I heard you calling out for black shoes. Where is it? No, Nash, they timed it out. Did not have it, nor did he have any level of mobility. So that's why underneath tier 1 down bottom. And it's good that they gave a lot of those those kills to Zero, because Zero needs it now first. Zero needs to build up some sort of level of tankiness and HP to power up his skills so that he can at least get one turtle against Ken here. So Gosu, Signs of Life, they're back in the game. Shrank that gold lead to about 2,000, 1,500, but it's still LEGACi's game, and they can still force out these, I don't know, these over-aggressive but well-placed plays, like in mid.
Oh, wait a second. The Fatal Links comes out, but Road Manipulation is there. Yue goes down. Nash able to pick that up, but Nash does go down to Fleur as well. Ken showing up a little bit late to the party, gets some passives, and walks back over to the turtle here. At this point, with Yue gone, I don't think we're going to see Zero try to contest this, but maybe I'm talking a little bit too soon, and Obi leaves house. He shows up too late. Ken takes another turtle for his team here.
Yep. The fall of Nash there, his second death, may have been because of Sprint. For those who don't know, Sprint got nerfed, kinda. They put down the max move speed gain to 50%. It's capped at that. And they bumped up its cooldown to 100 seconds. I wonder if he was short maybe 1 or 2 seconds, because I think he would have survived the real-world manipulation if he did press the Sprint. But yeah. He gave over a kill to Fleur, which again will help Team Gosu bounce back. But so far, now that there's only one Lord, or rather the Lord coming up next, they have to watch out. Ooh, fight.
Trying to get something. Oh, he grabs Fleur from that Road Manipulation and stops it instantaneously. Now Gold coming on to General here. General trying to battle mirror image out, but just can't get away. He's been slippery all game, but this time LEGACi does find him. Ken, deep in the jungle though, gets Sona's welcome onto Yue. Spits him out. Here comes Obi. Does not have those Fatal Links, so does not force it there. But Ken continues to be aggressive along with XP, cutting this wave, giving them a bit of advantage. And not to mention, Gold picks up the tower in the gold lane.
That is a brick wall walking towards you underneath your turret in the form of 3 heroes. That was the Atlas, the Barats, and the Esmeralda. No wonder Team Gosu went running. And look, they're still going with it. They switched up the Esmeralda for the Brody, but slowly but surely, LEGACi is mounting another huge offense, and they've grown their lead once more. They're back to about 3,000 up, 3,500 up, and I'm wondering where the huge difference is. Because so far, General hasn't had it good. Once Gold finds him, again, that's what you get with a Brody. I mean, you have better target acquisition, and you have better kill confirmation, especially in the mid game. So again, General has to play it safer. General, he recovered good from game 2 and game 1, but now all the more, get back on the chair.
Yeah, now Lord is up and LEGACi continues to hold it, right? Yue though, creeping around this wall, maybe trying to make a play. General also at the party, but Ken and EXP continue to zone them down. The Road Manipulation comes out, maybe a little too early. Obi does go down. Zero comes in, heavy spin. Lord getting very low. Blend still able to take the Lord with all of that. And now Gosu is tucking tail. No, actually firing back, able to take 2 members down, but they still lose the Lord there. Man, how do you feel about that, Leo? I'm wondering who really won out in that.
I'd say it was a messy take by LEGACi, but they're too far gone. They have crossed the line and they can't look back. If we start playing defensive here, our early to mid game centric lineup cannot bounce back. If we cross the 15-16 minute threshold and Team Gosu is given a chance to come back, they will, and they will with a vengeance. Again, that's what I'm talking about for General, getting back on onto the tempo of this game. So now that's where you saw the huge trade. 2 kills for a Lord, and yeah, Gosu did sacrifice 1 life for that big swing, and again, the Lord take. But so far, they can play like LEGACi did in game 1. Hold out, play underneath your turrets, and then punish back. That's what this lineup looks like from Gosu. It's a huge box-centric lineup.
Yeah, and I mean, and it can definitely work. We're starting to see General start to do a bit more damage, not to mention JC as well. Now, We haven't seen too much from JC yet, but he can kind of be that answer to deal with Gold when we creep into this game more, though. But Obi with a big Fatal Links on the bot side responded with that heavy spin very quickly. Nash falls. Gold will be next in 0, trying to connect onto Obi here. The Wheel Manipulation just to help seal that whole deal. That was the box we were talking about, and they found it, but they're not stopping. Conceal play coming out. JC trying to lock onto Ken, but he is a bulky boy. EXP tries to get onto General with that falling Star Moon, but General flickers back. Gosu have reclaimed their land. They are back on the map.
Yep, and that's what we're talking about. That is their best case scenario. Free kill here and there, maybe 2 if you can get away with it. And now Ken just holding on. Look at how sustainable this Barats is. Oh.
He's sustainable, but he will go down. General, chip by chip, able to start doing some damage there, Leo.
I love it. I mean, we could have had a short conversation about, I don't know, taxes. What do grown-ups talk about? But yeah, that Barats could have gone a little longer if not only Gosu won a team fight prior to that. And now, look at this. They're forcing it. They're going again.
That is rough. 2 members instantly taken out. EXP trying to get something, trying to at least keep them away, but another tower falls beside a Legacy, and the heavy spin comes in. EXP is bulky enough to withstand that a bit. Gold pops off the torn apart memories, does a bit of damage, and at this point, they're at least keeping them away, but EXP wants more. He wants to keep coming, but now General has showed up, and he's putting out the damage. EXP going a bit too deep and goes down there. I liked the effort there, but the Esmeralda bit off a bit more than she could chew.
Yep, XP there. I think they were hoping for an ult from Gold, which is just up now. There were a lot of stacks on the members of Team Gosu there in mid. But que sera, nice reset here. They are back. This is a Lord that's as close to 50-50 as it gets, Trex. I like how Gosu has shrank that Gold lead that Legacy had for a majority of this game. And so far, they're making a huge amount of ground. Look at bottom. JC is working.
Yeah, doing the same thing they did in game 1 when they were up ahead, right? Using JC to really just macro that lane, take a tower during the Lord. I mean, this is very memorable of what we saw, I think, in the first or second Lord of game 1. Team Gosu not being too, overcommitted to it. They're just kind of feinting it. They're just kind of hanging out here, letting JC do his thing, but XP is onto it, has rotated down, but there goes a blue buff. JC just, getting whatever he can, and he's taking it all, but wait a second, General onto Nash. Nash goes down, a monster kill for Fleur there, and this could be the moment that Gosu brings it in. Moves onto the slow. The thing is, Ken and Obi are still here. A Fatal Links green dot still on Obi, waiting for that moment. But the heavy spin comes in. He does connect onto several members, but no one is here to help out. General using the Blazing Duet, and Ken tries to get him, but the mega kill comes for JC there. EXP now forced to back off, and Legacy's gonna have to give up this Lord.
This is what you get by investing in a box-centric lineup. Again, that's a huge zone. That's a majority of this Lord Den and this whole river, actually, that Gosu was in control of. That's why Legacy's damage was spread out. That's why Legacy could not take advantage of the huge CC, the huge Fatal Links that Obi set up for them. And that's why even if XP was peeling like nobody's business all the way in the back line, there was no one to take advantage of the positioning that Legacy could have gotten because of Gosu's huge box, their zone. So now, Gosu, ball's in their court. They're actually winning this time around. They're up by about 3,000 gold. Luminous Lord marching down bottom. We're gonna help JC with the work that he started, and now Legacy has to defend.
Yeah, and I would say they don't have, that DPS to really melt down this Lord, right? So, and they don't have any super defensive siege, and if they do use XP and Ken and Obi to kind of get in the front side, once again, they're caught up in that World Manipulation. They're caught up inside of that box that Gosu wants them in. Gold taking his time, trying to chip away at this Lord, but Gosu is bringing it into the mid side. Fleur, UA gets a charge. Out comes World Manipulation. JC picks up the kill onto Obi, and they take the tower right after. Yes, Lord goes down, but they may still be able to take an inhibitor here. UA inside of the base with the rest of the members. A Blazing Duet comes out to help clear the wave, but now EXP is striking back. Gold moves in as well. Nash taking a bit of damage. JC goes down, but the immortality's still there. Zero trying to back him up. Gold picks up the kill. EXP causing a bit of mayhem though onto the backside, looking for Fleur here. Brings down the falling Star Moon. Can he finish it? 1 against 3, but Ken and Gold have now showed up as well, and Gosu is forced to back off. EXP bringing the pain, creating the pressure for his team right now.
What a swing back. At the price of a top lane inhibitor, LEGACi has fought back. They lost control of the game for about 5 minutes, but now look, they're trying to push in an inhibitor. This is dangerous.
Yeah, very dangerous, but OB goes a little bit deep there. Probably going to go down here. General flickers in, able to pick it up. XP now forced to run away as well. I don't know where that burst damages came from, but XP gets dropped down low. A tower shot in general is able to keep them away. It is back and forth. I feel like it's anyone's game right now.
Trek's key to the burst damage or the amount of HP LEGACi lost underneath that tier 1 in mid, rather that inhibitor in mid, is that amazing wild charge by UA. I don't know if it was against a Guardian's barrier, there were a lot of bodies underneath that turret, or against a turret itself that he targeted or he aimed that wild charge, but yeah, no, it knocked up 3 or 4 members of LEGACi, and it led to a lot of free hits. So that could have gone so much more worse, could have been more disastrous for LEGACi there.
Yeah, both teams really risking it out right now. General comes in, the nice pin onto Ken there. General flickers out, but it still may be enough. The tone is welcome, able to bring in Zero. Ken still in there. UA trying to do something. Fleur finally picks up the kill, but 2 members are already gone. Zero and Fleur instantly taken out. UA on the run, but walks right into EXP. EXP uses the fallen Star Moon, trying to get this finish. UA running for his life, but his life is taken, and EXP stands on top. This is 3 members down. Leo LEGACi might try to end this game here. They will. They take the inhibitor. They don't want Lord. It's JC in general against the Lord right now. Will Gosu go home right here, right now? Gold onto the base. It has been set. Gosu is gone, and LEGACi moves on into the lower bracket.
One of the stalwarts, one of the most long-standing teams, one of the biggest names in NA-MOBB, just made their exit here tonight and in the hands of LEGACi. In a sweep nonetheless. I am still trying to grasp and understand what just happened.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to swallow. The fact that, for a second there, it seemed like Gosu, they found it. They were going to come back and take that game. But it seems like the perseverance of LEGACi, and from game 1 all the way to game 3, they were just continuously able to take some punches and get back up, right? Take some punches and get back up, and it brought them to that victory there.
It wasn't easy. It was definitely a roller coaster, especially in game 3. Game 3 was the best back and forth rally we've seen in this series, and that's not really saying much because this was a short series, and it's not for lack of trying. Gosu was in control for a majority of game 1. Gosu held the mid game, so I'd say about the late game. They even scored a Luminous Lord against LEGACi here in game 3, but nonetheless, this box-centric lineup is definitely something to watch out for. It's just, I don't know, maybe the amount of ground they made in such a short amount of time in that mid game, again, let Gosu rest back on old habits, and that's where LEGACi again found their angle.
Now looking at some of these player stats, I know the MVP goes to Gold here, but I don't know, I gotta give like player of the series XP, man. The man, even towards the end of that game, when it looked like Gosu was about to hammer it home and just start to dominate, XP shows up, keeps them at bay, and was just able to continuously, like we said, if he has a good game, he can carry his team to victory, and I think he was very important in some of those final moments there.
Yeah, this is a XP matchup that we see a lot. Paquito versus Esmeralda, and for the most part, I'd say a good 8 minutes of this 38-second game, they didn't fight each other. That's just the nature of the matchup. So with that being said, it gave XP a lot of time to build up and come in clutch. We saw signs of it, how he was the only one left with gold, and then eventually in the late game where he was just bullying a lot of these, again, box-centric heroes. And I'd say even the MVP on Gosu, even Fleur, is scared of an Esmeralda because of the nature of their hero. Once you put up the real-world manipulation, best believe, half the time, there is an Esmeralda waiting in a bush, mere meters away from you, charging up that Falling Star Moon, just undoing everything you've done. So yeah, I would say, besides the stats and what our end game screen here says, XP definitely deserves a nod.
Yeah, not only that, let's take a look at LEGACi's items. I'm counting 1, 2, 3 blade armors, all aimed directly at General here. Maybe something that kind of slowed him down a bit, not able to be as continuously aggressive. Like, yeah, you can pop in that Blazing Duet, but if you want to really stay in there and dance and bob and weave a little bit, that's something that could have possibly stopped him as we went through that game a bit more. We are looking at some of these replays now, Leo. What do you think was the big downfall or the big expanse for LEGACi in this game?
So, LEGACi played their mid-game a little odd. That's where they started to get punished. That's where we saw General, again, figuring out the tempo and finding, okay, I can force these fights. That's a great box I can make the most out of, like this one right here. Yes, Lord went over to LEGACi, but Gosu caught the, I'd say, important kills, the significant kills. And now, underneath their turret, their inhibitor turret, there's a bigger punish that happened, and then eventually it led to these situations where it's just LG and XP back. So this is what XP dug his team out of. This is a situation that a lot of XP laners can't do themselves. But, you know, LEGACi has a great player on their hands here. Don't let him go.
Yeah, definitely don't let him go. Was definitely a star. And as we now move into the player of the series, I think it rightfully goes to him. LEGACi, EXP, picking that up. Thank you once again for keeping the name simple. I will never forget XP, right? So we take a look at game 1. I mean, had some deaths early on, but still was just a huge member in that win. And then all the way to game 3, continuing to dominate for his team and just creating space. Like in that last game with gold, and that I think it was like the second Lord there, when it seemed like Zero was going to come in and possibly make a play. LEGACi was able to create. I mean, EXP was able to create space for Gold to just fire those shots on the Brody, get that torn apart memories off, and just bide enough time once again for LEGACi to hold on in each fight. Now, we are coming back to Assassin Dave on the desk. How do you feel about those games?
Oh my god, the entire time I'm watching this series, dude, I think we see the poll in the freaking chat. We had 80% support for Team Gosu, obviously coming in with a dominant fan base. And I think they did it really well in game 1. You know, I think the tide really started shifting at the first Lord steal from Ken. He solo came in and just like red treated Lord, and everything just changed from that point on. I think that first game victory really gave the entire LEGACi the momentum they needed. You know, just look at the second game. We had Franco just outplaying the Diggy on the second game, you know, by Team LEGACi. It was just very, very, like, nicely done draft, well-prepared draft from LEGACi. And the third game, the roller coaster ride. You know, the ride that we all wanted when we came into this game, guys. But with that being said, we have the updated bracket. Trex, you know, walk us through some of the changes here.
I mean, we have LEGACi now going up against Team First Blood. I think a lot of people, you know, we expected Gosu to be there, but LEGACi has proved that they are the ones, and I don't think that's going to be an easy game for them. LEGACi still needs to keep showing that perseverance if they want to continue in this bottom bracket. Now, tomorrow we have the Simpsons versus Bloodhounds still. That's correct, right, Dave?
Yep, absolutely. And tomorrow we'll have 3 matches because Simpsons and Bloodhound are actually delayed.
All right, so yeah, we have the Simpsons versus Bloodhounds. I think it's going to be an amazing game. For those that don't know, a little bit of a Simpsons fan here. I like to vote for the underdogs. And then we'll have the Team First Blood versus LEGACi. And I'm guessing following that, we will have Ackerman versus the winner of Simpsons versus Bloodhounds. Definitely going to be one crazy night.
Yeah, absolutely, Leo. Now, you've been casting the last match. Any closing thoughts for tonight or any future thoughts for going forward on the tournament?
Well, good news, bad news. Bad news is I did not expect this to be a sweep, but LEGACi came prepared. And Gosu, I wish you all the best. I hope you guys come back stronger, and I will be watching. But good news is I expect the next few rounds, especially after the Simpsons versus Bloodhounds happen, even that should be quite the slobber knocker. I expect all following BO5s to really get close because, again, we are mere games away from Vegas. Yeah. And that one, too, I will definitely be keeping tabs on that.
Yeah, Trex, any closing thoughts from you? I mean, I think this game definitely took a lot of fans by surprise. Go ahead.
I think everyone's heard about my opinions on this game. My real closing thought is, Leo, thanks for matching ties, man.
I thought about this.
I know. I appreciate it. I like it. But no, seriously, a great game. Gosu, I hope to see them continue. It's been a pleasure seeing them compete in these tournaments. A lot of us have been wanting to see them come back, and they've come back. And yes, they're not the team that's going to go to Vegas, but they made it to the top 8. They showed that they are still an amazing team and on the top of the food chain in NA. So if any of them are listening, I hope we see you guys in the next North American event.
And guys, North America region cannot be described nothing short of a comeback story, right? We all love those comeback stories. We all love those. We see those the empire fall, but then they rise back up. And that's something that we like to see in North America. It's all about that comeback story, ladies and gentlemen. And tomorrow we have a jam-packed event. Like I said, one match being delayed tomorrow means we have 3 best-of-5s starting tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Definitely get your stuff ready and tell your friends. With that being said, that will wrap it up for all of us here today on the Casters Decks. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you guys next time.